Hey, everybody. Welcome to Buffalo Plus. Hope you guys are doing all right. I know a lot of people were waiting for us to get started. We're maybe a couple of minutes early, but we wanted to make sure we were ready to go. All right. I'm Mike Catalano. I'm with you tonight. Um, okay. So here's the deal what we've got here for you. Jenna was up in Orchard Park today. Maxwell Hairston, pretty impressive. I have to say this. He was really something today. So she was up at the news conference. She's on her way back. Dan is doing the TV work tonight. He's at the Rochester Americans hockey game because the playoffs start. So he's going to be doing that tonight and then eventually come join us for a video for later. So I'm going to be here with you for now till Jenna gets back, which is going to be in a short period of time. I honestly, I love the first round. I kind of think I like day two better in a way. 2 rounds, a little quicker between picks. And I want to know what you guys think. I want to see the comments. I want to know what you guys think this team is going to do today. So you let me know what you think's going to happen. I hope Dan is busy watching tape. Listen, I wanted to say something. I saw some of the comments about negativity about the Bills. And from a lot of you who were thinking we were being, and some thought it was Dan, but taking shots at the Bills in terms of this pick. I like the kid. I like what he is as a player. I think we wanted to make the point that the Bills have talked about a type of corner forever, that it is crucial to the makeup of what they want. They went against type. Now, I got to tell you, if he can really play, and all indications are that he can, I have no problem with them going against type. It's just very different. They have made it the point to say, you're going to play in this defense. You have got to tackle, be physical, like those things. This kid may very well become a really good tackler, right? He may be competent. That's fine. If he can really cover, that's what you want. But it is different. And you can add up the numbers and say he put on 10 pounds. Listen, those don't have the greatest recent history of guys trying to change their body after they get drafted. It didn't work great for AJ Epinesa. Some strange circumstances there. It was during COVID, where he, thought they wanted him to be a little bigger and a little lighter, and it went back and forth. For 2 years now, they've been talking about Kincaid getting bigger and stronger. They made a big point about it in this offseason. So, listen, would I like to see Hairston maybe be a little bigger to hold up in the NFL? Sure. I don't want him to lose that speed. I don't want him to become something he's not just so he tips the scales at a little heavier. He's got to be ready to play. That is what I want. And Todd's saying podcast was really negative. Beam was mad and didn't like the pick and made it insinuating Bean didn't like the pick. He wasn't as excited as he normally is. And listen, it's a long day. He's got to make the pick there. I think Bean likes the player. I think he wanted to come out of round 1 with a defensive lineman. That didn't happen. But there's guys out there today. And look, so if it was a little negative, I will say this. Look at the last 3 years, 4 years, really. Now, let's not count this kid because he might end up should have been top 10, right? Keon, very much up in the air with Keon. I think he can be a lot better. They certainly need him to be better. It'll be interesting if you guys think, Alfred Collins. I like Collins. He's a big kid. It'll be interesting if you guys think they would draft an outside receiver and maybe put Keon. It just seems like he might fit a little more in a big slot than he is on the outside based on the way he plays. A lot of the people who really focus on wide receivers thought that's what Keon's strength was. So it's maybe a little bit of a square peg in a round hole. But you look at that. Kincaid is a good football player. But we were told he was a matchup guy and difference maker. So far, 2 years, he has not been that. And it could be due to injury. I get it. Then you go back to Elam, where he's not even on the team. These have not been different. I think all of you guys would agree. Yes, you're right, TR. They already have a slot, but they can line up a lot of guys in different ways. Maybe get him a little closer to the line of scrimmage. I mean, a lot of times they line up in a stack with 3 players together, all like in the half slot area. But that's what they were promised about it, that this was what he was going to be. I think maybe I'm wrong. I think most of you would agree none of them have become a real difference maker yet. Maybe this is Kincaid's year in year 3. Maybe. Maybe Keon comes back healthy, knows the league better, learns the playbook better, all those things. But yeah, I didn't say give up on Keon. Like TR is saying, don't give up on Keon, not giving up on Keon. I love this one. Deion Sanders couldn't tackle. You are correct. This is now we're going back to now with the Bills pick with Hairston. He's Deion Sanders. I mean, that's like saying Wayne Gretzky doesn't forecheck. I mean, come on. It's Deion. If this kid plays like Deion, he can do whatever he wants. Randy Moss wasn't a blocker, okay? I'm saying to you, you do need to be able to tackle. Deion is Deion. He's in a class by himself. So that would be the only thing I would say in terms of how you look at what he needs to do. I got to tell you, though, I know it's just a news conference, but he was really good today. And I don't know if you guys have heard it yet. He was asked what he knows about the Buffalo Bills. And his first answer, you could say, I mean, I guess if you want to be any kind of, I don't want to be negative, but if you want to say it's a little bit of pandering, but I think it's true. He said, what do you know about the Buffalo Bills? And he said, I know Josh Allen is the best quarterback in the NFL. And it was great. And then he said that line about if I pick him off, I'm gonna keep the football because Josh is that dude. I thought he was great today. I thought he came across like a guy you want to be around, want to have on the team. He talked about Trey White. All those things were great. I'm hoping this kid really elevates the secondary. And we'll see what they do today. We're looking at some of the early picks. Jacksonville's on the clock now. So Houston. Ooh, wait a minute. They took Higgins, huh? That was a guy I had in my mock. Jacksonville's already on the clock. This thing moves pretty fast in the second round. Yeah, Higgins is a big, talented wide receiver. I think it would be a little bit of duplication of Keon, and I don't think they were going to go that way. Imanuri went 35th. Yeah. So let's see. So Higgins goes, Imanuri goes to Seattle. He is so big. He is something. I don't know. Do you guys think, let me know. Do you guys think the Bills are going to be in the market for more secondary today, or is it just big guys? I said in Cleveland, right? I said it was Cleveland was the draft pick. Somebody was questioning whether I said Cleveland or not. Yeah, Cleveland had the first pick. Yeah. Let's see. I don't know what's going to happen with Will Johnson. I mean, that is fascinating to me, just in the idea that that he is. Yeah, the Browns took Schweissinger, the linebacker. I know some people thought maybe the Bills with him in terms of linebacker. I heard something today talking about the role really that Milano plays is one of the highest injury roles in the entire NFL. And we've seen it happen with Matt. There's just so much traffic in there. So many things go on. Junkins went to fourth, picked another one to Cleveland. So, yeah, the Browns are busy in the second round. So anyhow, I don't wonder what you guys think. Do you think they're going to be looking to go double up on corners? Langmouth Hunter says, I don't mind seeing another corner. I don't mind seeing, listen, you love, like Taron Johnson's a great player. I mean, he's got some miles on him too. He's very good, but you need other players. You need another corner. I don't know if there's anybody right now. They have Trey, but if you brought in a second rookie, you could. There's a thing to be said about that. I don't know, man. Will Johnson. I don't think they would do it, and the Bills aren't doing it. Not after taking a corner in the first round. Somebody's going to take him. Maybe even the Raiders. I don't think the Raiders have. Do the Raiders have any corners? I don't even know if they do. That's one place they are really. So the moment we talked about this, I think I talk so much. I might have said it just in the sports office. If you got Johnson and he played 3 or 4 years, would it be a good pick? If they were 3 or 4 really good years and then he couldn't play, I think you'd take it. But obviously, you want these guys that are high up, any chance they use Maxwell on special teams? I don't know. He didn't return. He talked about it today, and he said Kentucky had a really good returner, and he was a track guy. Obviously, he's fast. I don't think he's done it, but you would think, right? Especially a corner that fast. We've seen corners with that speed return kicks. I don't know. I don't know if they would do that. He is dynamic with the ball in his hand. Yeah, Kevin says D-line and safety. There are some options there. Safety-wise, you've got, okay, so there's some interesting guys at safety. I don't know if you have looked at this at all, but there's this Billy Bowman out of Oklahoma. Physically a different type of player. I don't think he'd be in the second round. I think maybe fourth. Little smaller, 5'10", but he's a ball hawk too. He's always around the ball. I really like Xavier Watts out of Notre Dame. He had 7 interceptions as a junior. I like the guys that'll go take the ball. He actually talked about that teams told him they were concerned about him as a tackler. I guess it's good to have self-awareness, but that's something he needs to work out. So, because if you're going to play safety in the NFL, you got to be able to tackle. So, the Dolphins traded up, huh? Dolphins took that spot. They're on the clock now. So, yeah, I don't, when I look at safety, I think honestly, now see, Michael says draft Amos for free safety. A lot of people talk about drafting players and switching them to safety. And I don't see that as a guy with certain players. I will tell you this. I did have a player in my mock draft, and I will tell you right here, that I thought could make that transition. Now, where am I? Oh, losing my spot here. But I think that's like coming out of school. Like Jordan Poyer was a corner in college and then moved to safety. I think you can do that, but I don't believe that the Bills are going to do that with a guy like Amos, who's a corner and has the skills to play corner. Sean says, doesn't matter what the Finns do, they're still going to crumble in December. That was 13th was awful high to take Grant. And I know we talked about him with the Bills, but you're talking about taking him in the high 20s or 30s where the Bills were. Not taking him at 13. But I'll give the Dolphins this. You got to get line of scrimmage guys. That's what so many of these teams stay away from. Micah was a safety with Green Bay. Who said that? I got a little cough here. The moment says the Browns have passed on Sanders 3 times. They're not drafting Sanders. I think if you look at the Browns, I think they're basically saying, we're going to get our quarterback next year. We've got 2 1s, and there's top guys. Now, maybe they take a flyer on somebody in the 6th or 7th round, but but I don't, they're not drafting him. I do feel bad for Shedeur Sanders, and I will say this, and I want to know what you guys think about it. I do think if scouts or analysts, a lot of them, were able to be totally honest, I think if you looked at Shedeur Sanders, you say a lot of things to like about him. He, to me, just watching this league for a long time, he looks like a second or third round pick to me. He somehow got elevated to top 5, number 3 or 4. And I just didn't see that in him. Is that the worst thing you can say about a player? If you can, that you're not a franchise quarterback coming out of school, doesn't mean you can't become that, right? And I do think there's so much criticism levied when anybody downplays a quarterback, and especially it's Deion's kid, and Deion's nonstop talking about it. And I personally think Deion doing that hurts Shedeur a little bit because he puts people on a bit of the defensive. I think most people really like Shedeur as a player, but you're asking a team to draft him as their, early as their potential franchise quarterback. I think he's probably better off going somewhere in this round or the next round and maybe learning how to play in the NFL first. Doesn't mean he can't play, but I think all that talk about him put them in a spot. And then once you start to fall as a quarterback, this is not like a defensive lineman, right? This is your quarterback. And Pittsburgh doesn't really have one, right? And they didn't want him. So I don't know. Sanders with the Niners, huh? Yeah. I mean, that system, they constantly are bringing in quarterbacks. But I guess that could possibly happen. Guard going to the Dolphins. I don't like it when the AFC East focuses on the lines of scrimmage. Most of those teams have been too dumb through the years, right? The Patriots post Belichick's, not that his drafting was all that great, but they always had a good team. The Dolphins like the flash, and the Jets were clueless. These teams are focusing on the line of scrimmage. When I say I don't like it for the Bills, that they may have a way to be better. Yeah, NFL nepotism with Sanders is one of the comments. It's a meritocracy in the NFL. You're not playing unless you can play, right? I mean, maybe in coaching, broadcasting, you could put somebody in there. I don't think anybody's drafting Shedeur because of who his dad was. I think in a little way, that's why I say I think it hurts him a little bit because I think people think you're going to get the whole Deion treatment of it. But I see this all the time. Like Michael said, make White a free safety. Trey White is not a safety. He doesn't play that way. That's not his strength. He is a corner. Maybe he is not what he was in his prime, but he's a corner. I do not see Trey at all as a safety, and I don't think they have any plans to do that. It's funny. The guy they actually talked about briefly was Benford as a safety after his rookie year, which was odd, I thought, because of the way he looked at corner. It just was mentioned a little bit. But that, by the way, Todd says, why Cody Bellinger? He's talking about Cody Bellinger. I called him Clay on the newscast the other day. That's his dad. That's what happens when you got so many names stuck in this head after doing sports for 4 decades. Michael says Trey can't play anymore. I don't know if he can't play. I think his role, listen, they want the rookie to start. There's no question in my mind. They want to see that kid come in here and win the job. He's going to have to win it because they don't want him out there if he can't win it. But I think this kid has the right level of confidence and also understanding of what he's stepping into. Doesn't mean he's got to start week 1, but I think they'll know pretty quickly if they think he can handle it, if he can handle the playbook, if he can handle all those things that go with being a rookie. Seeing some other comments about could Cook fetch a 3rd round pick in this year's draft? That's a strange one because to work out a trade, if you really wanted to trade James Cook, the new team knows I'm giving up a 3 and I'm going to pay him because Cook's going to want to get paid. That would be sort of part of the deal. I wouldn't trade Cook. I would sit there and wait. He'll be back. He's going to play. I mean, I don't see if it does him any good. I guess you could sit out till late. It could be one of those things. I just don't think. I think he's a pretty good kid, and I think he's smart enough to know if he goes out there and plays, he's going to get paid. I don't know if he's going to be. I don't think he's going to get what he wants to get. He should try to get whatever he can. But I don't think. I'm not sitting here saying we got to trade him. I said to you guys the other day, I don't get what James Cook's doing. He didn't make some point about not coming to OTAs, to the optional training, but I would show up for this. And then I would make my point in May or June, right? Or July. Well, I guess you get fined for some of those, but I mean, they could, if the Bills saw a running back they wanted, they could make a move. I don't think they're going to do that. Oh, speaking of running backs, New England got Travion Henderson. He's pretty good. Ohio State. I think he's real good. I do not like seeing, now I said this about the Lions, but I do not like seeing New England look like they know what they're doing. I think they could use that. This kid's going to help them. He's going to help them. So the Bears are on the clock, then the Saints, then back to the Bears. A little time before we get there with the Bills, 56. And I'm wondering what Bean is thinking today in terms of, okay, TR says, I don't want a disgruntled running back in the last year of a contract because he doesn't want to get injured. He also wants to show the league what he can do. And I just don't know if in Buffalo, I mean, he had a bunch of touchdowns last year, which is great. He made some great plays. He was a playmaker for the team, right? I mean, he was. The Bills have good players in terms of full out, what I would call playmakers. I think Shakir has the ability to become even more of one offensively. And it's Cook. Well, obviously it's Josh Allen. It's Josh Allen. Last year was probably Josh. And then I would say maybe Cook and then Shakir. None of the other guys were playmakers. I mean, Keon had a couple, Mac had a couple, but I wouldn't consider them where somebody says they're a real weapon. They're a playmaker. But yeah, how can the Bills get a 3rd round pick if you don't trade? I mean, I don't think they're trading Cook. Could you package some of those other picks? Maybe include something for next year? Maybe. I don't know if he wants to do that. How much he's going to. I think it might depend on how he feels like he does here in the 2nd round with 2 picks. I mean, he could always trade back at 62 and maybe use that. I don't know if he would want to do that, trade back, move back a certain amount, and then get a 3rd. I'm just trying to think of, there's two ways to get the round you don't have. You either come up and add assets or you go back to a level and then add that asset. So I don't know what he's going to do. Samuel, if healthy, is a weapon and he can run. I like Curtis Samuel. And he did show some flashes as it got later in the year, but they needed to see, more out of him for what they brought in. So yeah, I'm waiting to see where they go here. So I want to know what you guys think about wide receiver. Should they be looking now, rounds 2 and 3, or round 2, the 2 picks? Should they be looking at a wide receiver? Yeah, an X wide receiver. You're right. Justin's talking about what would Josh get in trade value. Right now, Josh's trade value is half ownership of the franchise. I'm driving to Orchard Park. I see that stadium. That is the house that Josh built. Because without Josh Allen, I don't know if this franchise is building that new stadium. I hope you don't. I don't think that's hyperbole to say that. Well, I used a word Dan wouldn't have known what it meant. Don't tell him I said that. Yeah, I know it's fun to kill time before the Bills pick, but I don't know how. I mean, Josh in his prime, we won't even talk about. I've had people say to me they were worried about Josh. Josh isn't going anywhere at any time. He's signed. They have a great relationship with him. He wants to be in Buffalo. He's great. So no, he's not. He's not. Yeah, Josh Allen isn't going anywhere at any time. Well, you are right. The taxpayers are building the stadium. I'm just saying is the Bills are building it in part because Josh Allen resurrected the franchise. So, um, Tom's making a good point. He said if we plug the holes in defense, double dip, maybe edge, then you worry about wide receiver. I don't disagree with that. Um, I don't disagree with it. I have them. Okay. There is a wide receiver, okay, named Luther Burden. It just when you watch his tape, it is fun to watch. He is electric with the ball. I say a little Debo. Somebody was jumping on me. They were like, he's not the route runner Diggs is. He just reminds me of a bigger version of Diggs, not to the level of Debo where he's running people over. But you watch this guy with the ball, and he's an exciting player. Shakir's had a few of those moments where he's just taken off, like he did against the Rams when he scored. But this Burden is tough. He runs a 4.4. He's lined up in the backfield. That's why I think a little bit more Debo-esque, but a more fluid runner, I think. Maybe not as big. He does run through contact. I don't know. Would they use a pick for him? That's pretty high for a wide receiver. And I don't know if they would do it, but I like him. And then the player I like on the D line, we've talked about it, is Darius Alexander from Toledo. I know he's going to be 25 years old. Everybody freaks out. But Luther Burden just got picked. Chicago Bears. Maybe they want to trade Dan's crush. The Bears have some serious weapons. They have spent some money. I tell you, if Caleb Williams, he better be able to play with this group because they are giving him help. They got some offensive linemen and they got some pass catchers on that team. That is a team that is offensively, they should be pretty good. And they got Ben Johnson running the show. Watch out for the Bears. Now we'll really see what they have in Caleb. Anybody think the Saints take a quarterback? Man, they're a mess. Yeah. Rocky Mountain asked if Saints are going to take Sanders. That is a poorly run franchise. When we make the jokes about the salary cap's not real, you know who it's real for? The New Orleans Saints. Because they redid contracts, pushed it down the line without a quarterback. This is since Drew Brees was gone. And they're doing it, spending money, pushing contracts down with Derek Carr. And then, it just has been a poorly run team. And they never paid the bills. They never said, we got to take a step back here and do that. They just didn't do it. So I'm just looking at some other. I don't think you guys maybe you do think they would take a quarterback, but I just like seeing quarterbacks get taken. So it increases the amount of players on the board for the Bills. So Bean's going to be sitting there with, so far we are not seeing defensive linemen go. So we've got linebacker, wide receiver, safety, running back, guard, running back, wide receiver in the second round. So we got 16 picks till the Bills come up. What's selfish? What did I do that was selfish? Bullseye saying that's just selfish. Maybe I don't know. I don't know what I said. Yeah, David's asking, do the Bills take a flyer on Will Johnson? He is a very talented player. Wanting the quarterbacks to go first. Yes, you are right. Uh, he's talented, but man, when the medicals come out, sometimes you worry for a player, for the individual guy, that something gets out and then everybody starts to believe it. They got medicals on these players. And Dan was pointing out a source that he has told him about what they've heard the medicals are, which is, cartilage gone. And that's tough. That is tough on a player if he doesn't have that. So it would be nice to take him. Yeah, tell me you could get him in the third round or fourth round. I mean, that does happen sometimes if he's going to go. Rodgers is looking for the sweet spot to land. I wonder if Rodgers, I guess, I don't know if Pittsburgh's going to sign him now, but I wonder if Rodgers just thinks he's going to sit out and wait for somebody to get hurt and try to take a spot. I don't know. Oh, Saints did take a quarterback. The kid from Louisville, Tyler. They took him. Well, ESPN's got something to talk about now. I'm telling you, nonstop, Shedeur Sanders. I had it on in the background today. I just wanted to see if anything was going on. I was doing other work. I'm like, fellas, like I don't think the whole country is sitting there worried about Shedeur Sanders and where he's going. But yeah, he keeps dropping. Yeah. Todd's talking about Larry Allen. You're right. Medicals. You know who else had medicals? It was for was it his neck? Is DK Metcalf. Teams were afraid of him. Bills didn't draft him. A lot of teams didn't draft him. And if the Bills draft a running back today, does B get calls for Cook tomorrow? I just don't think they're trading him. I don't think they're trading him. Well, Sanders is the real life Bo Callahan. Oh, the classic movie Draft Day. Yeah. Johnson's knee is supposed to be degenerative. That's a problem. Well, you're right. Don saying is, I wonder if you look back at some point and say, man, everybody, bailed on this kid and he ended up being really good. Thurman had knee issue, but he had surgery, and people looked at knee surgery very differently back then. That it was almost like, I mean, it's just 30 some years ago, that it was like, you're not coming back. Look at Thurman. He's incredible. Bills trading up, I think. Bills are on the clock. Here we go. Okay, what do you guys have? Bills made a move. Let's get the specifics. Look at those Bills making a move. Wow, forget about trading back. He's trading up. Let's see what we got here. See if we can get the specifics for you. Bills trade up on the clock. So that means they got their guy. They're not buckle up. Here we go. Okay. So they traded 56, 62, and 109 to the Bears for 41, 72, and 240. So they moved up and basically lost the other second and gained a third. That's what they did. I think it's D-line here, and I think it's the big kid. Hang on. I'm not seeing anything yet. I think it is going to be TJ Sanders. That's just my guess, out of South Carolina. Let's see. Let's see when the pick comes. What do you think, Bills? Yeah, I like the deal. I like the deal for them. It move up as in the 2 and move back for 3. So they still keep the 2 picks. The other one, they give up 109. This is how you use your 10 picks. You trade up, it costs you some capital, you spread out the other pick, but he moves up a lot. So he definitely was somebody. Yeah. Let's see. Ezeraku is the BC kid who's very talented, put up big numbers, but I don't know if that would be their pick. I think it's going to be D tackle. I think it could be Sanders. Let's see. Guys are making their guesses here. I'm going to see what you guys are guessing. Let's see. Yeah, a lot of thought there. So the Bills, like I said, the Bills get a third. They didn't have a third. Now they're on the clock. So once you get on the clock, though, it's sometimes people are like, sometimes people are like, well, you just make the pick right away. They don't make a pick until they actually get in touch with the player to make sure like he's okay. I mean, that's no joke either. Like, in the old days, they would be like, make sure the guy's like not drunk somewhere or alive. Guy on NFL Network is saying safety or wide receiver. It could be. I think if he's moving up like this, my guess is if he's moving up like this, it's for D-line. But I could be wrong. It does happen. I don't like to admit it, but it does happen. Let's see what we get. I'm looking to see. I think Sanders seems like their kind of guy. They had him in. So, Bean made a deal with Ryan Poles. I've known Ryan since he was in high school. He was a football player in Rochester and went to BC, blocked for Matt Ryan, ended up with the Chiefs, and now he's the GM of the Bears. Had a rough little bit of time, but his team looks like it's bouncing back this year. TJ Sanders, that's who they're getting. South Carolina, defensive tackle. There we go. I like it. In fact, I was reading something Joe Buscaglia put up from the Athletic. He's talked a lot about Sanders and just being the kind of guy that fits them. 6'3", 305, 33 and a quarter inch arms. He's been a starter, good at the point of attack. Now, Joe talked about this, and I've heard other people talk about it too. I think they feel like there are players that can develop into playing that one technique, right next to the center. He's big enough. Dwayne Carter might be another guy that could bulk up a little bit and be that guy that takes on double teams. I think maybe they feel that's the case. I think Sanders could do that at some point. But I like the position. I like the fact that I don't know where you would have had him ranked against these other D tackles, but I think he gives you a little more flexibility here. And who I liked, but looks like he's not coming. Alexander, somebody's going to really like that kid. But TJ Sanders, all right, there you go. Wow, Bean makes a move and spreads the night out for everybody a little bit. See, Bean didn't want you to leave at the end of the second round. So he makes this deal and gets him. Yeah. Mark on already, saying the replacement. I don't think he's the replacement there. I think he can be. I mean, you got to show. I mean, Daquan's there. I don't think Daquan's going anywhere. I think for one more year, but and especially early in terms of that D line. But I like the pick. I like the pick for them. Yeah, they already got this all set up. Yep. Wow. You know what's strange about Sanders is I think he only played with one school. Look at that. I don't think he transferred. On the Bills site, they list him as 6'4", 297. I think he weighed in bigger at combine. 39 games over 4 seasons, all 13 games. First team all SEC. That's pretty good. You're playing with the big boys there. In 24. So he had a very good year. He's a South Carolina kid. Played basketball. Love seeing that. I mean, I know sometimes just great athletes play, but when a big guy plays hoops, I think that really helps him going forward. I think he really was a real basketball player. And then he eventually focused on football. So, yeah. He only played 1 year of high school football. So he was a basketball player who played 1 year of high school football, and South Carolina brought him in. You know you gotta be an athlete if they're gonna do that. I mean, it helps to be 6'4", 200 and whatever pounds at the time. But yeah, there's a lot in here about him as a basketball player. That's fascinating. I just, his leadership on the basketball court transferred to football. And yeah. So that's cool. That's cool to see. So, all right. So now where are we here? First of all, I want to know what you guys think. What do you think of the pick? It's not the most exciting thing in the world when you're talking about it, but I do believe they think this guy can play 3 downs. That's what you ideally want. Doesn't mean he's got to be out there for every pass rush situation, but I think that's what you want. Did he ever wrestle? I did not see wrestling on his bio. He's a basketball player, same season. So he was a basketball player. Good point by Rocky Mountain. He says weaknesses are coachable. I see a lot of times, and I understand when scouts or analysts are looking at players and they talk about things like pad level and hand placement and all. It's awesome if the guy's got that all figured out already. Most guys don't. The ones who just have it, it's incredible, but most of them don't. And they get in the league, and what worked in college doesn't work in the pros a lot of times. Especially it's leverage, hand placement, pad level is big. Man, when I'm at practice, the amount of details that the coaches go over on a random Wednesday during the season with players is incredible. It is a lot about technique. That is what people don't know about the NFL. This is constant technique talk about positioning and hand placement. And so, yeah. So I do think that's coachable. I agree with that comment. I think it's coachable. I think when they get with a player like that that has the physical ability, look, even offensive linemen, how to lock on a player, how to use your body weight. I heard a offensive lineman talking about the way you step with I'd say like your pivot leg, like your stick in the ground leg, like you move left. If you move too far or have that foot tilted out just a little bit, that's all it takes for a pass rusher, push you on the right side and run right by you. And it's incredible how quickly they find out. So good coaching can make a difference. Yeah, Albert is saying if we want a 3 tech, why not Walter? I don't know. I don't know. So here we go. So now we thought they were going to be 56 and 62, and they end up picking at 41. And in case you missed it, and I don't know, if people on here did, the Bills made that trade. So they went from having 2 picks in this round to 1, but they moved up 15 spots trading with the Bears. Then they moved back. So they gave the Bears both of those picks. So the Bears now move back to 56 and they get 62. And then the Bills move into the 3rd round with pick number 71. The Bills also gave up 109 and 206. That's how it mapped out. But if you look at it from Bean, he wanted his D tackle. This is a guy I think they really liked and they felt they could get him. But I think they were probably a little anxious about it after yesterday. So he didn't want to sit around and wait. And he still maintains a pick in the 2nd and a pick in the 3rd. Maybe not as high as you wanted, but there's a lot of players that fit in this range. I mean, realistically, that fit in the range of, 20 to 75. I mean, I do think there's, this is, I love the Jets pick. Mason Taylor. Do you know who that is? You guys know who that is. It's Jason Taylor's kid, tight end. And what's his name? The linebacker is his uncle. Zach. Oh, come on. What's his name? From the Dolphins. Zach. Anyhow, Jason Taylor, tremendous athlete. Zach Thomas, thank you, Lyle. See, I know you guys are coming through. Yes, I'm getting a lot of Thomases. So there's your uncle and there's your dad. That's pretty good. This kid is a stud. He's a stud. Now, Bills have a tight end. Where are you guys on Kincaid? Not where are you? I want to know where you are. I try, we've been accused of being a little negative. I guess I just was hoping for more in the 2 years so far. I was hoping for more flashes. Tell me if I'm wrong. I saw more flashes of really good stuff last year out of Keon than I did out of Kincaid. Tell me I'm wrong. You probably think I'm wrong. Ooh, Alfred Collins just went to the Niners. He's big. He's big. I don't think he's a 3-down guy though. He's really big. I think he's like 6'6". That was a guy I thought, if it gets past this point, but shoot, he's going at 43. Cowboys are up next. Cowboys are going to take a wide receiver. All right. I want to know what you guys think. He's fine. Not worth a first-round pick. You aren't wrong, Mike. Kincaid took a step back. I like Kincaid, but he owes us after the drop. Yes, Jenna heartbroken with Collins gone. She's on her way back. Isn't it great to have Jenna on this channel? Don't let her know I said that, okay? She's the best. She's paying him, but she's the best. Had 77 catches. I know he did. I mean, he had some numbers, but I don't know. We were promised he was going to be a matchup problem. I don't think defenses think of him as a matchup problem. Yes, he was fighting through injuries. Oh, Liz, she's not that smart. She's smart. Just kidding. What does that mean? There goes another year with McDermott's useless defense. I like Knox better. I got to tell you, there's about 4 tight ends in this draft that I think this is a good tight end draft. This is a good tight end draft. So Quentin Morris, Rocky Mountains talking about Quentin Morris. I like Quentin. They don't use the other tight end as much because they use Anderson as the extra offensive lineman. Boy, Liz is right. How about Poyer? I mean, I love Poyer as a player, and he was great with the Bills, but 2 cheap shots he took at the Bills in the 2 games, and he knocked Keon out and ended up helping him win the game. Gadsden. That's the Syracuse kid. You remember his dad, Arande Gadsden. Yeah. Yeah. I like Dawson Knox a lot. And I think with this offense, they would have been fine with him and another tight end. But they went with Kincaid. Look, it'll be great for the Bills if Kincaid really steps up this year. And they've told me that they've told all of us that he wasn't healthy and he's working on getting stronger and all those things. I hope, like I said, I hope for all these guys. I root for players. I've covered this league for so long. You get to see them as people. I'm not friends with the players. First of all, I'm their dad plus age-wise, right? These guys, Dan and Jenna, are older than all the players. Okay. So these guys are young. I root for them to do well. I do. But sometimes it's a little frustrating because the Bills thought they were getting something there and it hasn't happened yet. Okay. Victoria says, I love Jenna. Feel bad for sometimes having to referee you 2 jokers. That's pretty true. I got to go with you on that. I don't believe Max says Kincaid is cooked. I don't think he's cooked. I just think he's got to be better. He's young. Like, I think there's a chance. Oh, Nathan, that's very nice of you to say. Well, You asked me to read it. It says, you're a legend, Mike. In my own mind. That's the way it works, right? Isn't that what they say? The Diggs loss hurt Kincaid. God, what a difference if Diggs didn't if it didn't end up the way it did with Diggs. Because he could still play. And that was on his own. So we'll see how he does in New England. But Kincaid is average, solid, maybe. That's what he looks like. That's what he really looks like. Boy, Caleb's saying we don't have that many guys. We have, well, I think, yeah, you need dudes. That's what we say. You need more dudes. I think Keon will have a big year. It could happen, but Eric says he bought his rookie card and went from 75 to 25. It's like the stock market. I'm not going to say anything else. Benford or Hairston covering Diggs. I wonder, I don't know if anybody asked him today. You get the feeling that Mad Max is a talker during the game, that he talks a little shit during the game. Maybe good-naturedly. Here she comes. Hi. We were saying all those nice things. Jenna's made it back.
Sanders is hopping on the Zoom.
Oh, he's hopping on the Zoom. Look at this. Yeah. Jenna just said, if you don't mind talking. Of course we do. Your guy, Alfred Collins, got picked.
He did?
Yes. You can use your microphone, even if you're just gearing up.
Okay.
Jenna's here.
Hello. I will change the or the camera
in a
setting.
second. Yes. Most people would much rather look at Jenna than at me.
I don't know right now. I've just been sweating and got rained on in Orchard Park. That's okay. It was actually nice in Orchard Park.
I was asking, we were just talking about Max, and I said, I wonder if he's a shit talker on the field.
I could definitely see that. Yeah. I mean, not
like confirmed. A fun one.
Yeah. Yeah. I really liked his personality.
Yeah.
Like he was a joy, honestly, to be around. He was really fun. He had his whole family there. And he was funny because he said he went on a top 30 visit. So he had already been, obviously, to Orchard Park.
Yeah.
And he was the one leading the tour for his family, showing everyone around.
Really?
I know. I thought that was really cute. I was like, I love that.
Well, I said his line about Josh was perfect.
Oh, phenomenal.
And it's true.
Yeah. Also that. Okay. I'm gonna change the shot really quick.
Yes. And then because we got to change it to a 2-shot. That and yes.
There we go. Oh, the Zoom is not working on my end. But no, he had great energy.
Yeah.
Was a big fan.
Did Jenna make a stop on the way in? Somebody asked.
Did I make a stop? What does that even mean?
I think maybe go have a pop on.
Oh, no. No. I had so much Italian food though.
Really?
Mulberry. Oh, it's delicious.
So Mulberry is a restaurant in Buffalo that the players go to a decent amount.
Yeah.
We've always tried to figure out a way to go there like after a game. And it just usually doesn't. Well, first of all, because usually it's like midnight by the time we're getting out of there. But
yeah. Apparently they have very good wings too.
Really?
Yeah.
Jenna hit happy hour. No, she didn't. She came back here to work.
I swear. Although my hair does look crazy.
How about the move they made? We could get Jenna's 2 cents on this.
So I was driving and I was talking to my parents.
Yeah.
And my mom was like, well, the Bills are on the clock, Jenna. And I was like, oh, really? I'm like, She's like, yeah, they made a trade. My mom broke the news that
Val,
we were
breaking
talking about the wedding stuff, just some wedding stuff. But yeah, I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. So, and I love the player. It makes sense. 6'4", almost 300 pounds. Like we've talked about how you need that guy next to Ed Oliver and what that can do.
Yeah.
And so that made a lot of sense to me. So I just think it was a great pick, addressed a need for this team. And hopefully he will be someone that could make an impact early on in his career.
Yeah. I think, we talked about it. I think he's the type of player they believe can take over for Daquan in that spot.
Yeah, which makes sense. And like Daquan in his first year with the team played really, really well.
Yeah.
And I think last year, there was it the pec or the wrist? I'm trying to remember. Either way, him coming back from the injury wasn't quite the same player. He
Yeah.
is 34 years old. So it makes sense that he would want they would want to have an upgrade at the position.
Yep.
And I think it makes a lot of sense to have TJ Sanders.
So my wife texted me and I don't know. She said, why are they booing this guy? My guess is it was Luther Burden because he's a Bear.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes a lot
I
of
can't
sense.
imagine. I don't think anybody else, I don't see any reason anybody else would be getting booed.
No.
If it's a Bear or a Lion, I mean, it's in Green Bay. And maybe not too far off, we're going to have the draft in Buffalo if they get it done. What, 28 they were saying?
28, 29?
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. What was the trade with the Bears? What did it
So the
entail?
Bills ended up moving back. So they moved back to the third. So they
Okay.
gave up. They moved up to 41.
Mhm.
They moved back to 71.
Okay.
And they gave up 109. Obviously, they gave up both the picks in this round. So they gave up 56 and 62. So they gave up the 2 picks in the second round, but moved way up in the second. They added a third. And in the process, they gave up a fourth and a sixth. Fourth and a sixth.
Yeah.
206 and 119, I think, were the picks. So, look at this, Tom. Thank you, Tom. 56, 62, and 109 to Chicago. Oh, they got the extra pick. Chicago got 41.
72.
No, take it back again. The Bills gave up 56, 62, and 109. So they gave up the 2 2s and a 4. The Bears gave them a 2, a 3, and a 7.
Okay.
So I like the Nate Lee. Nate could have been on our pod last night. He was pretty negative. He says, not a great pick, can't stop the run, can't take on double teams. Bean is a fool. I'm done with Buffalo. Wasted the best quarterback ever. Weren't the Bills a play away from going to the Super Bowl last year?
They were.
Okay. So
They were. Someone, let me see who it was. Liz Herbst saying, what position will they go for next?
So at that point, honestly, now they move back to the third round. I think this is where unless there is somebody out there that he's got on his board that makes sense for him to try to jump,
Mhm.
that would to me mean he would be trading a pick for next year.
I could see that.
If he wanted to move up.
Mike Green is still out there.
Yeah.
And Will
Johnson?
How cooked is Will Johnson's knee?
I don't know. I do feel for the kid.
I feel terrible. Like, yeah, I feel like at this point, the value, it's like, maybe you should take a swing on this guy.
Yeah. But I don't know. They have other now. So right now you would say, I always say this, it's semantics. You'll see, usually NFL Network, they like to tie everything up in pretty bows. They'll say they filled their needs. You don't fill a need, you address a need.
Yes.
Because you drafted this guy doesn't mean he's going to be what you hoped he would be. You hope so, but you don't know.
Yeah.
So they have addressed D tackle. They have addressed corner.
I think that is an important distinction. And you will see that once you've been informed of that, of like, oh yeah, they filled the need for corner. It's like Kaiir Elam didn't do that.
Yes.
They addressed it, but it wasn't, and obviously Christian Benford ended up working out, but they do the best job they can to address the need. But
I feel a little bit better about that in some free agent circumstances, like even with Bosa.
Yeah, I'm saying draft wise.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
But I'm saying is sometimes they say that they filled, and I'm like, it depends on who the player is. A guy who has had success, you hope, right?
Yeah.
So, like I like Josh Palmer, the ability he could have. I don't think he's filled a need yet. I think they hope he has. They haven't had great luck with those guys yet when they bring them in.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'd like to see him throw a bone to Josh and get a
wide
pass
receiver.
catcher.
Yeah. I think that would be, especially at this point, if there's a couple guys that you think you like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why not go wide receiver?
Yeah.
Because it is so funny. Like last year we, beat the table of like, what's the saying?
Pound the table.
Pound the table. Pound the table of like, they need to address wide receiver. They need to address wide receiver. I'm in Dan's spot. So this is why I'm.
Hold on. But behind you, does he not look sad?
Roma Dunze?
They drafted Luther Burden.
I mean,
Rome.
I know.
Hey,
Hey, maybe a
call the-
trade.
Call the Bears up. Rome's not happy. Oh
Could
my
you
God.
imagine?
Dan would be insufferable.
Dan would be, honestly, it'd be great content.
Great content. And that kid's skill set, I would love it.
Oh my gosh.
I would love it. But no, they're not getting rid of him.
No.
He's not going anywhere.
No.
No, I said Caleb Williams got some guys.
Bears general manager Ryan Poles, a Western New York native, Canandaigua native.
We discussed it a
Oh,
little
you
while
did?
ago.
Oh, okay.
yes.
Sorry.
We talked about a lot of stuff. We talked about you too.
Did you really? I'm glad I wasn't listening.
Yeah.
Not high, not drunk, not under any substances, people.
George Pickens is available. I don't want any part of George Pickens.
No.
He's
Talented
wacko.
player.
Yeah, you're right.
A
Todd
bit of a
then
head
said-
case.
Todd then finished with he's nuts but available.
Yeah.
And believe me, that happens.
Yeah.
They're nuts but available.
Jesus. No, I not worth it. Juice not worth the squeeze.
I want a Jenna is high, Jenna is not high mug.
Okay, Steven, that's pretty funny.
That's pretty funny.
I'm not gonna lie.
Will Johnson
Oh.
gone to the Cardinals. Did that just
Okay.
happen?
It must have. Let me look at the. I mean, it makes sense. What's the Amherst score, by the way?
I didn't even look.
Yep. Cardinals draft Michigan corner Will Johnson.
Yeah. By the way, every time I see Terrence Ferguson, I think of never mind. It's Saturday Night Live.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I watched Saturday Night Live, but not that
It was
religiously.
no, this was years ago.
I'm happy for Will Johnson. He was one of the guys in the green room yesterday. Did you see that only 17 players were in the green room?
Really?
Yeah. That's
The whole thing? Yeah.
yeah.
So we've been to the draft numerous
Yeah, a
times.
number of times.
And it's why we don't go anymore. One, the Bills picked too late in the draft.
Well,
it's
yeah.
first round.
A couple reasons.
And two, it's a crapshoot that the players are going to be there.
Well, and three, they don't need a quarterback, and quarterback is
Yes.
what drives everything. So
Amherst are trailing 2-1 in the second period. In case you were following the hockey team in Western New York that makes the playoffs, it would be the Amherst.
yes. Oh man, I'm very curious to follow Will Johnson and his career.
This is awesome. Andy Young tweeted, TJ Sanders says he's comfortable playing any tackle spot along the line from 1 tech to 3 to 5. He weighed 297 at the combine, but he says he feels good between 3 and 310.
Oh my
Isn't that awesome? That he just, between 3 and 310, I'm good.
Oh my God. I cannot imagine being that large of a human being. 6'4", 310.
Yeah.
Whew. Fire hydrant.
Yeah.
Buffalo has a hockey team. No, we're talking about the Rochester Americans.
I like our friend Carl Jones just said, I think some of the discourse between a 1 tech and a 3 tech is a little overblown, especially teams that play 4 down fronts like the Bills. In terms of where you line up, it really, the responsibilities are the physical makeup. I think you could play either one for a lot of players. I think that's what Carl is saying. So, a lot of tight ends, man. Ferguson is going.
Is he?
Yeah,
Oh.
he just went to the Rams.
You would imagine the Bills are not in the market for that.
Raiders just traded back.
Matt Miller. Will Johnson was number 7 on my board, drafted at number 47.
Yeah. I mean, look, when you're evaluating that player, you're evaluating what he's done. They do have access to the teams, have access to the medicals, and that is throughout the league. Like, they all know what the medicals say, and
Amherst tied it.
teams will red flag a player.
Yeah.
And it's like we talked about, it's either do not draft or do not draft before round
whatever. Yeah.
And,
I am curious where Mike Green will fall. He had some off the field issues.
Yep.
Very productive player. We know that at Marshall. Exceptional production, but I think that is what's been keeping him off of many teams'
Yeah.
draft boards. So we'll see what ends up happening with him and where he goes, but definitely talented on the field. So
Nathan, I don't know. He's a 300-pound defensive tackle.
what did Nathan
He's
say?
saying we trade all our picks for another small D tackle. I mean, he's said between 3 and 310. I mean,
Yeah, I mean that's a big guy.
yeah.
He's 6'4" too.
Yeah. Matthew says if Johnson plays and Hairston
Oh.
doesn't, that's a
Oh.
problem. Oh,
Why did? Hold on.
is that just the camera?
I don't know. Looks like it.
Hang on there. We're in black here for a second. Do you want to just pop on? Oh, there it is. Now we're back up. Yep. Who turned out the lights? Yes.
Wasn't me. And we're back.
Yeah, a big guy for regular folks. Yes, in football, not that big.
Oh.
I mean, yeah, I mean, defensive tackles.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's anything to scoff at. I mean, Ed Oliver is a smaller guy, so any guy that's bigger offers that.
Right.
Get the 6'6", 464-pound D tackles. Yeah, I mean, whew.
Daquan is 320. Defensive line from the Bills. Actually, Michael Hecht, I guess he's considered DN. He's at 310. Mostly it's all offensive linemen that are bigger than this. Ogunjobi is 305. Dwayne Carter's 305. Yeah. Ed Oliver's 287. So no, I mean, defensive ends are in the Rousseau's 266.
But Ed Oliver's not that tall. He's only 6'1".
No, but yeah. Yeah, David's right. Everybody wants a 330-pound, 6'4" defensive tackle who can move. There's not a lot of those guys out there.
Yeah.
Where is Dan? Dan is at the Amherst game tonight. It is a 2-2 tie. That's where the TV. Yeah, Ted Washington was a big dude. Played for the Bills. Yeah. Yeah.
I think your stream is ahead of mine.
Sam Adams was a big dude, played for the Bills. Famously running in the end zone when they beat the Patriots. Tom Brady picked it off, and Big Sam was running in the end zone. Bills won the game 31-0. The season ended with the Patriots beating them 31-0, and Greg Williams got fired. Yes. I was doing Greg's. Oh, Alistair.
Wow, that's so nice.
That is really great.
Oh, thank you so much.
That is really nice.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate that.
I was doing Greg Williams' radio show at the time, and he got fired. And
oh my gosh.
It was after he left, and then I wanted to try to reach out to him, seeing how he was doing. And I called the number, and it was it Chan Gailey or Dick Duran? The next coach answered the phone. They gave him the same number.
Woo! Isn't that
That's
something?
very Bills. Yeah.
Dang.
Yes. Bobby remembers that. Yeah. When they had that 31-0 game. So wide receiver. A lot of people like him wide receiver. Well, my guy is gone there. So
yeah. Alfred Collins. I'm surprised he went after TJ Sanders.
Well, he's a different kind of player. I think they think of Sanders as more of a 3-down guy. I don't get the feeling that that's what is thought of for.
I mean, we thought he could go in the first round, so there was talk of that.
Yeah.
Who's on the clock now? The Texans.
Texans
select Minnesota OT.
Yep. Ursary.
At 58, player they considered early in the second round.
Yeah.
Now you're going to get that.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
We couldn't believe he was still on the board.
It's like, it's okay to say that you used your pick.
Yeah.
But I get it. They want to pump up their guys.
Kyle Williams, the wide receiver. Yeah, Tooch is saying Kyle Williams.
I know. Yeah. Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah.
No pressure. You're Kyle Williams in Buffalo. You got a lot to live up to.
I don't see why. Why do they think that he's a huge gamble, Sanders?
I don't know. Are you guys streaming through the third round? I don't know. That's a good question. Are we?
We'll come back for the third round.
What do you mean we'll come back?
I'll come back. We gotta do.
Okay, I do at some point have to finish my story.
Yes.
Real quick, inside baseball. What is the plan for tonight? I'm going to do my story, and then are you cutting the Amerks highlights, or am I, or is Dan sending stuff back?
Dan is sending stuff back.
Okay.
So that yes.
Okay, wasn't sure. Mike is addicted to the life. Not sure what that means, but it's funny.
This life?
To the life. I don't know.
The TV.
Max Herzog. Herzog. They played. Herzog played in the league.
Oh.
Linebacker. Why do I know that?
Good morning.
Mark Herzlick
from Australia.
Oh, wow.
Funky Gibbon.
That's cool. Can you please spin the Dan mug to its correct side? That's
so we already discussed.
That's not
the
nice.
Perceived negativity from us last night.
Okay, what was the take?
That we were too negative.
Okay, here's my take on it now. I've had time to digest. I've met the guy. I think you see the traits and the upside, the speed and what that can bring. Bean says he is a willing tackler. We shall see how that works out, but he's got a lot of charisma. I think he will do well gelling with the group. And you hope that he can kind of muscle up enough to stand his ground on the field. But the Bills, speed is something that they have lacked on that defense. And so I get why they made this move. Maybe it was someone I was not expecting, but now taking a step back and seeing how high the ceiling could possibly be for him, it makes sense that you're taking this kind of swing.
I made the point that the Bills have been pretty adamant in what they expect out of their corners in Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a different type of player. Doesn't mean it can't work. He's very talented, but they almost made it a prerequisite that you had to be a certain type of corner to play for the Bills.
Yeah.
What they wanted. And I think his strengths are different. And that's why it surprised me. And by the way, am I looking at? Oh, Amos is still out there.
Oh, he is. Yeah, I believe so. Also, now people are being mean about us being nice. Can't win.
What do you mean?
People are like, who cares about being nice? Charisma, who cares about that?
Well, I think the point Jenna is making, I don't even have to say it for you, is you have to know how to come in as a player into a locker room, right?
Yeah.
And he said all the right things about working with Trey, knowing his role. I'll play teams. I'll do whatever. I didn't sense listening to him. It was lip service.
I completely agree with that. I think there's some other guys that can turn it on for the camera.
Yeah.
He seemed very genuine and humble. And he even said, he's like, I like hard coaching, which not every guy does.
Yeah.
So I do think that's important too. He had glowing things to say about Trey White and wanting to learn from him.
Yeah.
And I think Trey is the type of veteran player that would accept that role and welcome that role, because that's kind of a hard thing for an older player to be like, oh, now I'm in the teaching spot.
Yeah.
But I do expect Trey White to embrace that. But that being said, yeah, the speed that he has, and you see that top end talent and what that could mean is obviously could be impactful, but I had my reservations about some stuff, tackling mostly, and things like that. So we'll see how it pans out, but I get the speed thing. I do.
Yes. And like I said, it did not feel like a Bills type of player. And, you know, our reaction to it was, this isn't what they normally say to us.
Yeah.
And what they want. That being said, a lot of things are different on a team when it's not prime Micah and Jordan in the back. That's true. That has made a difference in this secondary. I don't I don't love the safety position at the moment.
That could be another spot. Is
Yeah.
Xavier Watts still out there?
Watts is still out there. Yes, both those
You
other
know, yeah, I was to say
Notre Dame
Amos and Xavier
and
Watts. Amos and Revel.
Revel both out there.
But yeah, that's interesting
Azure
too.
is out there too.
Yeah,
from Florida
Azure
State.
Thomas. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is always so wild to see how the draft board kind of Mike Green to the Broncos. Oh.
The Broncos must have moved up. Did they trade with Seattle?
It would appear that way, but let me see. Oh, never mind.
So on the list on the
Broncos move back with the move. The Broncos move back and the Panthers are coming up to 51. Okay, so did Mike Green go somewhere?
So on this list so far, so they list the best players available. This is ESPN's ranking. Mike Green, second is Darius Alexander. Revel is third. Shedeur Sanders is fourth. Arroyo is the tight end from Miami. Very talented, no production for 3 years. And then he started.
Arroyo just went to Seattle. And Nick Scorton to the Panthers. So Mike Green is still out there.
Yeah. Yes. Shamar Turner is out there too, D tackle.
Yeah.
It's another guy. Also, Jalen Noel, the wide receiver. He's the other guy from Iowa State. Smaller. It's fast.
Add more speed. Maybe that.
Matt Miller's pro comp for Jalen Noel. Khalil Shakir.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
Trey Harris is another one. Of course, like we already talked about. I mean, it's a little time before the Bills pick, but Jalen Royals is another guy the Bills brought in on a visit. So there are wide receivers out there if the Bills are interested. Kyle Williams, like we said, Xavier Watts, and safety, Jalen Lane. So anyhow, we'll see what ends up happening.
Seahawks. Yep. So when is the Bills' next pick?
71.
Okay.
If you want to, you tell me what you want to do.
I don't know. It won't take me long to finish my story, but
it is 8:30.
Hold on. The shot. Crapped out.
This one again. Yeah. Anyhow, so we're closing in on where the Bills' initial picks were. It's pick 72. Is it 72 in the third? Yeah. Panthers are on the clock here.
I thought they picked Squirt. Whatever.
Oh, maybe it is. It just went through.
I feel like I'm in a food coma from all the pasta.
Yes, Bills are 72 in the third round.
Okay. All right. Do you want me to finish my story then?
You go right ahead, then come back.
Okay.
Sorry to disappoint you guys, but Jenna's going to leave for a little bit.
I think everyone is. The internet is telling Jenna to do her story. That is very, very fair. The moment. Do your homework. You know what this is, Michael?
Do what you got to do.
Do what you have to do now so you can do what you want to do later. So on that note, I'm going to do my homework.
Okay. You want to punch up the other camera?
Do you need anything? Okay. I'll have my phone on me, so.
She's going to go.
Don't worry,
take
everyone.
it.
He has snacks and water, and he's listening to his favorite NFL draft podcast. It's a joke, like, you know, when people have a car, like a dog in a car, and they're like, he has water and the AC is on. And
Bullseye says Jenna's going to go take a nap.
No, I wish. No, I got to do some work.
Why doesn't Dan have to work ever? He's actually working.
Dan
tonight.
is working.
Yes.
A lot of dispensaries near Orchard Park. Not high.
Josh says, Mike says, give me the one shot. He's about to cook.
Man of War, thank you.
Did we like the D tackle pick? I think it's the type of player the Bills want. I like his. We joke about versatility. Sometimes they say versatility means you're not good enough at anything. I think right now this player is going to be a rotational defensive tackle. I think my guess would be they hope that he eventually can take over the Daquan Jones role. Doesn't mean day one, but that's what the idea would be.
Yeah, I mean, I like the move. We talked about how they needed to look at D-line and both on D tackle as well as edge. So they have addressed the need at defensive tackle, a bigger bodied guy like we talked about. I think he would pair well with Ed Oliver, and also just, add that element that we think the Bills defensive line has been missing in some moments, at least on the interior. So, and you're right, like a guy to replace Daquan, because he is getting older and you want someone to kind of be in those big moments. And Daquan has played well, but not as great as you would like for him to have had last year. All right, I'm going to go. What?
Daquan's younger than you.
No, he's not. Is he?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Is he? Dang. Yeah, that's how old I am. Oh, he's 33.
Yeah, that's right.
Damn. He's from Johnson City?
Yes, that's right. He's a Binghamton guy.
Wow, I did not know that. I knew he went to Penn State, but I did not know that he's. Wow.
Yes.
The more you.
That's right, because he.
Yes.
Austin Johnson and he were teammates at Penn State.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And Austin Johnson, if you don't know, went to the same high school that Mr. Mike Catalana did.
St. Augustine Prep. J-Dub saying, honestly, he's a 3-tech with 1-tech flex on third downs. I understand that. I think that's the case. I think, yeah. Craig just said, I thought Jenna was leaving.
Can you tell I don't want to do my homework? Jenna is procrastinating. Rick, I thought you were on my side, man. I will do this.
This TV stuff gets in the way.
Sometimes it does,
Oh, Femi Oladejo going to the Titans. Yeah, he was the guy the Bills brought in as a pass rusher. Brought in for a visit. He's an interesting guy. He played like linebacker, and then they moved him, and then he played on the edge. He played both. A lot of people thinking he could do both at the same time. Not the same time, but both for a team, play both as an interior linebacker, inside linebacker, and also play on the edge. But I think they're listing him as an edge. I think that's what most teams would do with him, but he has the ability to do that. But his career really took off when he went as more of a pass rusher. So we're getting there. We're at 52. So there is still 12 picks left in this round, and then 10 more until 8 more after that till the Bills pick.
Okay. I am going.
She's going.
Going to go do my story. It runs 1:10.
Yes. Josh Martin says 1:10. John says, what's Carter's role now? I feel like we don't know enough about him. Speaking of Dwayne, not Jalen. Yeah, it'd be nice if it was Jalen Carter.
Yeah.
Look, I think they think he can help them in that Daquan role.
Mike's going to cook.
Maybe he'll eventually be that guy, right? Maybe eventually he would be the more of a 1-tech defensive tackle, middle of the line. Yeah, I'm with you, Simon. I liked Oladejo too for the Bills, and they liked him. Wait a minute. This is Tennessee Bills fan saying, Jenna, call in sick. I'm her boss. Not really. I mean, technically I am, but who do you think bosses who around? Bean thinks Bills fans are happy if they just made the playoffs. No, he doesn't. I mean, the Bills have been just not good enough. I mean, that's not what the case is. That's not what the case is. Is Mike high? No, Mike is not high. Actually, it didn't really feel great today. I feel better. I feel better when I'm talking. I wasn't talking a lot this afternoon. Carter is the replacement for Jones. I think they hope that's the case. Hey, look, I want to know what you guys think about this. Bills draft a speed guy. Bean even mentioned the Chiefs. Where'd the Chiefs get their speed guy? From the Bills. Right? And I know you're going to tell me they would have gotten him anyhow. I don't know. I don't know if they would have, but the Bills helped him get him, and they got to be chasing that guy around. Well, at least they got somebody with speed that can chase Worthy around when the Bills play them. So let's see. Yeah, Joe's right. Joshua Farmer is somebody they met with. Do they double dip at defensive tackle? This draft is deep with D tackles. It's like you might as well, if you're not sure, take another one, right? Take another one. Yeah, they did make stupid mistakes against Kansas City. They really played poorly for most of that game, and they still had the lead. I don't really want to talk about that game. It's frustrating to watch. I mean, obviously, I enjoyed seeing the Chiefs get smacked in the Super Bowl, but I wanted the Bills to be there. So, yeah, so 2 picks in. The Bills have a fast corner, and they have a D tackle that I think they believe can step right in and contribute. I mean, you guys know this. When you talk about rotations in defensive line, it's just such a different position than basically anything. The only thing I think it's close to D line, and hear me out here, is wide receiver, because you can put 4 and 5 on the field at the same time. So if you dress those guys, they all play. Your O-line, the 6th O-line plays for the Bills only because they choose to bring him in as an extra guy. You don't sub offensive lineman out unless somebody gets hurt. Your quarterback plays. You do use multiple backs at different downs. Certainly the Bills do. But that D-line, you're talking about, 8 guys playing in a game, because you got pass rushers, different schemes that they use. Those guys all play. So you can get those guys on the field right away. Hairston is faster than Worthy. I don't know. Worthy's pretty fast. They both ran in the 4.2s at the combine. So Valerie says, just started listening. You guys don't seem excited. No, I like the picks. I just think that it's hard to look and say, oh, this guy, you know for sure how he's going to translate. The truth is, the teams don't know, right? They hope, they've done research, they like the player. I mean, they really like this player because they traded up to get him. They gave up that second 2, the Diggs 2. Wait a minute. Yeah, they gave up. Well, one of those picks was the Diggs pick. And they got him. So obviously this was a guy Bean was focused on. Let's see. Let's see in here. If Trey Amos goes to 56, Bean has failed this draft. Oh, Morrison went to Tampa Bay. I don't agree with that. I like Amos too, but he's still out there. I'm surprised. I like his physical makeup. I think he fits the mold of a Bills corner. To be quite honest with you, I think if they look for another corner, they look for somebody that could play in the slot. And maybe that's a safety. Maybe that's a safety who could play in the slot if needed to be. You need a backup for Taron in that case. Man, they've got a lot of use out of Cam Lewis, if you think about it. And I like Cam Lewis. I think he is small. Like when I look at a player, I'm standing there at practice and I'm like, Cam Lewis is small. And he's tough and he's out there. But like, I think there are times, even though they trust him, he's played a lot of different positions for him. I mean, he's really, when Taron's out, and Taron, God bless him, man, he gets banged up. I could see them looking for somebody who could play the slot. Josh says, Mike, can you explain how the Bills would go to camp with 4 running backs if they draft one this weekend? I don't think it's possible to do. They have to move Cook. Is it possible to do? Sure, I don't see any of those guys being like they're not doing anything with Ray Davis. They love Ty Johnson in that role. I think if they really believed it was going to come to that, they would do it. I don't think they're going to do it. um, I don't get this. Bean is happy to be a playoff contender, and he stated it. No, he hasn't. Believe me, I've been around the guy a lot. I've heard him say a lot. I've talked to him off the record. He is not happy to be. Is it good that you're in the fight every year? Yes. That's how you win. You're not like the Bengals, and I know they made a Super Bowl, but the Bengals get knocked out and they've missed the playoffs. They've had injuries, all those things. Um, but no, Bean is not satisfied to just make the playoffs at all. These guys are desperate to try to get this team to the Super Bowl. Hairston could play nickel if needed. He was Trey corner. Yeah, that's a tough spot. I mean, I guess he physically probably could. I don't know. I see him as an outside corner. Honestly, I don't see him. Hey, thanks very much, Man of War. We appreciate it. What do you guys think the reason Shador's not drafted? I would have said he was overranked, taking him into this second round. I would have said, too much nonsense, too much talk, big name, a good player. And he's not a first rounder, so he goes early in the second. But it's funny, there aren't that many spots for him. I mean, does Pittsburgh, does Cleveland, does one of those teams take a flyer on him in the third or the fourth round? I don't know. I don't know. Hey, wow, Jake, thank you very much. I appreciate it. That's really nice of you. What do you think? What do you think if Bean doesn't draft Allen? Based on his past drafting, is he still the GM? That's very interesting because obviously he did. And that was the biggest focus of the entire organization for that year was settling on what the quarterback is going to be. They've been pretty damn good. They just haven't been good enough, honestly. But I do agree. I do think the drafting has been, it's at the elite level. It's at the high level. We were talking about, and I think we mentioned it on one of the podcasts about if you took the Bills roster. I think Dan said it the other day, but he said it a little differently than I wanted to. It's not about who could start for another team, who a team would take. Bills have a lot of starting players that would be really good on other teams. I'm talking about those elite players. I'm talking about the players that if you put them out there, right? So say you looked at the Chiefs and you said, we want Chris Jones, we want Trent McDuffie, we want, we were not even counting Mahomes, well, not anymore, Kelsey, just age-wise, I would say would be the difference. But there's certain players you'd be like, oh, yeah, we want that guy. You look at the Eagles, you would say Jalen Carter, A.J. Brown. You would say Lane Johnson. They've got a lot of dudes. When I look at the Bills, I think, who would you take? If you were an expansion team, you could take any guy off the Bills roster for the next 5 years. You're building your team. Not Josh Allen. Take him out. Who would you take? Who do you think is the most, and we're talking, so now you're talking about a player that would be at an elite level, like where you think can be elite level, or really is it a position of, like everybody would like Benford. I think Benford would be a guy, every team would like to have a guy like him. He's a good player. He's a good football player. Dion, yes, I agree. Adam, I think he's in his 30s now, but he's still really good. I think the guy that most teams around the league would look at and say, I'll take that guy, is Spencer Brown. I think he plays the way teams want your tackles to play. He's very aggressive and physical. I think he brings that element to the team. Yeah, Benford, top 5 plus. He's somewhere in that range. He's a good player. I don't know if he's top 5 at corner in the league. He's top 10, I would say. Spencer Brown, yeah, Todd's agreeing with you. Spencer Brown, absolutely. I like Shakir. I think Shakir would have a spot on every team in the league. Just the way he plays, it just helps everybody. But, I don't see that level. James Cook's a really nice player, but I mean, I can name 5 running backs you would take ahead of James Cook. I mean, he plays 40% of the snaps. He's not out there on most third downs. Hey, thank you. Certified genius. Oh, I get it. Certified genius. Thanks very much. We appreciate it. Yes, Jenna to grab a drink on her way home from here. I think she's going to go home and go to bed. I think these were kind of long days. Milano, if he's healthy, like Milano was that player. It's just a shame he's really gotten beaten up. Healthy Milano, you're right. He was really good. Need a replacement for Milano. Yeah, I don't think they're going to be looking for it in this draft. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe when they get there, they're good because like I said, he's not going to be back next year. I really don't believe he's going to be back next year. So that will be something to see. All right, Trey Harris of Ole Miss, wide receiver. He went to the Chargers. Anthony Belton, the offensive tackle from NC State. He went to the Packers. Yeah, Morrison, the corner from Notre Dame. He's got a hip injury is what people were worried about with him. Maybe that's just, they do look for a lot. Yeah, I don't see where James Cook's not in the top 5 statistically. I mean, he had 1,000 yards rushing. I think he was 11th in rushing yards. Dave saying that. Yeah. Oh, here's the Bills pick that they traded. Let's see what ends up going. That's 56 and then 62. Let's see what they end up doing with the Bears. Be funny if they took Amos. I don't know what they're looking at. Okay, Dom says Groot. They give me a hard time. I'm sorry. I got a little bit of a cough. They think I'm too high on Rousseau. I just like his physical traits. I think he's a hard worker. I think he's pretty good against the run. And I think he can become better. They have not had help on the other side for him. They really haven't. And hey, look, if Bosa's healthy and he's given him a lot on the other side, I think he could have a big year. I would love it. I could give them so much crap. And not that they dislike Rousseau. I just think his traits translate to every team in the league. He's tall. He's got good bend going around the edge. I mean, is he perfect? No. But yeah. Todd is saying with Groot with a game wrecker on the other side. I really do think so. Their D line's just not been good enough. It just hasn't been good enough. $30 to get Jihad to replace Milano. Well, oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. If they would have made that move. Where is Overdorf? Are you talking about Jim Overdorf, Michael? Is that what you're talking about? From the Bills? He still works for the Bills, if that's what you were talking about. Maybe you're talking about somebody else. Let me check. Oh, how about the poor kid Harmon, Derek Harmon from Oregon? His mom had been in a coma. Steelers picked him, and she passed away last night. He was going to the hospital to see her to tell her about getting drafted. Man, that's rough for that kid. I feel for him. Shedeur is still on the sidelines, but he's waiting. All right, let me see here. Okay, let's get back to what's coming up next. So the Bears are on the clock here. Yeah, they're on the clock with the pick from Minnesota through Houston through Buffalo. That's how they got that pick. So Ozzy Trapilio from Boston College goes to the Bears. See? Ryan Poles drafting a Boston College offensive lineman. That's where he played as an offensive lineman. So the Bears use an O tackle to offensive tackle to play in the spot that they traded with the Bills. The other pick is coming up for them at 62. So you got the Lions. I'm thinking in terms of quarterback, if Shedeur is going to get picked in the second round, could be the Raiders, right? They pick at 58. Who's the Ravens backup? I'm trying to think. Who's the Ravens backup? I don't see him at the Broncos. No, I don't see him at Washington. I don't see him with the Bears. Not Kansas City, not the Eagles. I don't know. How do I not know who the Bears backup is? I mean, the Ravens. Somebody's going to answer me here. Huntley? Is it still Huntley? I should know this. God. Sometimes I just got so much nonsense in my head. Oh, they got Cooper Rush. That's right. Actually, I like that for them. I think Cooper Rush is a pretty good backup. So CP doesn't agree with me on Beam. What don't you agree with? You think he just wants to make the playoffs? Like, they've already done that. They've done that multiple times. I don't think they're satisfied with just making the playoffs at all, if that's what you mean. Yeah. Thanks, Georgia. Yeah, I just figured that out. I remember I was trying. In fact, somebody was asking me where Cooper Rush went, and I couldn't remember. Like I said, a lot of stuff rattling around here. You talking about who Landon Jackson is? What are you referring to? I see a comment here. You're talking about the edge guy from Arkansas. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe he's 3-year starter. All his teammates, coaches say he's a dog. He's a worker. You can count on him. Say he's a little crazy. Fast hands, quick off the count. He didn't have, a lot of people love the rush rates, the pass rates and all. Landon Jackson did not have good numbers for that. So I don't know how much. He comps for Max Crosby. Well, if he's Max Crosby, and he should have been picked already. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to end up doing. Darius Alexander is not gone yet. He's going to be 25 years old. And I think we're going to see more of this with players hanging around in college a little longer. We were talking about it, and somebody said it's going to be to the point where teams are going to draft players who are taking a pay cut to come to the NFL. Absolutely the case. A good example right here is, I know he's not as worried about the money. Shedeur Sanders is going to take a pay cut. I mean, if he's drafted in the 3rd or 4th round, I'm sure he made more at Colorado than he's going to make in the NFL. I mean, they're not big contracts. So yeah, that's going to happen a lot. You're going to see more and more of that. But the reason I say is Alexander is he was 6 years at Toledo. These guys like Toledo. Quinyon Mitchell, the Eagles, he stayed there. He could have transferred anywhere. He stayed there. They like playing. Oh, okay. Another guard. Tate Ratledge from Georgia just went to the Lions. So the Raiders are on the clock. All right. Yes or no? Do you guys think, did Sanders really get $8 million last year? He didn't get $8 million, did he? That's a lot of money. Yeah, Revel's falling. Amos and Revel are falling. So, do you think the Raiders take Sanders? Do you think this is a spot he could go? Mm. Yeah, somebody's saying, why would they pass him take him now if they passed him before? Because you're taking him at a different spot, and the quality of player who's still on the board when you're picking, like just use the example, when you're picking, third, like the Giants, you weren't going to take him. Isn't that funny though? That that people really had in their initial drafts that he was going to go third overall. Yeah, P can get along with anybody. Not sure Geno Smith would like it though. Yeah, they just signed Geno with the Raiders, so he got his deal. Yeah, I don't think, late second round doesn't mean automatically he's going to be your franchise quarterback. I also want to ask you guys this. At what point do you want to see the Bills draft a young quarterback? Now, I'm not talking about the next quarterback for the Bills. I'm talking about a young quarterback who could be the backup for the Bills. I like Mitch Trubisky as a guy. I think he's a good dude, and he's Josh's buddy. I don't know how much I trust him playing with this team if he had to. And I don't look at it like if Josh was knocked out for the season, could Mitch look, it's hard to replace the great quarterbacks for a half a year or a year. I'm talking about as your backup. We don't really get a chance to see him play with the starters ever. So when he's in preseason games, he's in there with the backups. And it looks that way. It doesn't look great. It never really does. Even at practice, it doesn't look great. But at some point, I'd like to see them get a guy on a cheap contract that could be the backup. I don't know. I think sometimes spending this money, I don't know if you're getting what you hope to get out of your backup in terms of what you would say is, oh, we can't go with a kid. Oh, back from TCU, the wide receiver just went at 58. I didn't love him. A lot of people loved him. I didn't love him. He went to the Raiders. I didn't love him as a prospect. Oh, that's right. He has still got Mike White. I can't believe I would rather see Mike White as the backup this year. Yeah, Simone says, or Simon, I'm sorry. Simon says, if the backup is playing meaningful games, the season's over. I'm talking about if the backup's got to play, Josh sprains his ankle in the third quarter and he's got to play 2 quarters, or he's got to miss a game. There's a saying that if your backup's got to play 2, he needs to be able to win you 1, right? That's what teams will say. Like that's what they normally think about. No, I'm not taking a quarterback in the third round here. Though I got to tell you, I like Kyle McCord, the Syracuse quarterback. I like him a lot. I'm surprised he hasn't gone already. I think he's got a chance to be a pretty good player. He seems to me like the kind of guy that would become a good backup for a team. I'm not sure who's going to take him. He's probably a third or fourth round guy, but I kind of like him. But, I just sometimes you think about this. Money Mitch is good enough for 2 quarters. Riley Leonard, do you like Riley Leonard, really? I don't think he can throw the ball well enough. Rick agrees with me. Kyle McCord's going to be good. Yeah, he's got something to him. I mean, he came in and I thought he was really good. So, Jay Song, I want to know what that Sanders pick is another head scratcher that is made yearly by Bean. I don't know. I think he's was a pretty highly thought of defensive tackle. I mean, I don't see where this idea is like this is such a head scratcher that who would make this pick. Let me see here. I'm going to look at something for you. In terms of defensive tackles. Shamar Turner. Did anybody take Shamar Turner? TJ Sanders. Here we go. Yeah. Projected in the second round, second to third. He got snaps at the nose already in college. He's an athlete, very productive per snap, good workout at the combine, good athlete, lateral movement, first step quickness. He's quick off the ball. They talk about his hands, not good enough with his hands yet. I do believe that can be plays too high. I do believe that can be taught. That could be techniqued out of a guy that has physical ability. So, I mean, I think a lot of people had him ranked right in that spot. Just depends, I guess, what your personal preference is on the player, but I think he's a pretty good player. Again, we won't know yet. We got to see him out on the field. Let's see. Yeah, how was Mike? No, Mike Green went, right? Mike Green was, oh no, he wasn't. I think Jenna thought he was picked, but he did not get picked, right? I'm sorry, I keep coughing, but oh yeah, Mike Green is still out there. And so is Darius Alexander. I mean, we're at the second round. I thought for sure, maybe the off the field stuff. Well, he's only 251 pounds. What do you guys think of Javon Solomon? Did you see enough last year to think that he can really help this year? Did the Ravens take him? Did they just take Mike Green? Let's see. Amerks are still tied 2-2. Oh, never mind. It's funny. I'm looking at a couple of people that I follow the Eagles are talking about the players that they would be interested in. Josiah Stewart, the edge from Michigan, is out there. A lot of people like him. Savon Revel, corner, Trey Amos, Shamar Turner, the D tackle. So I'm looking here to see. I didn't. Yeah, I see a little Jerry in him, in Solomon. I agree with that. Dom said it. Solomon gives me Jerry Hughes. I do think the same thing. Anybody from Georgia. That is true. Those guys can play. You know, just draft in the SEC, the minor leagues of the NFL. the Ravens pick yet? I haven't seen the Ravens pick. Yeah, that's interesting. Christopher saying coin flip between Xavier Watts and Landon Jackson. I could see them going with a on an edge as opposed to the safety. But I don't love their safeties. Isn't it funny? For the longest time, we just sat there and said, look at the Bills' safeties. And that can only last so long. But, those two were really good. A great combination. And now safety is it's definitely below average. Xavier Watts would salvage this for me. Wow. You guys really like Xavier. He's a good player. We're at pick 59. It's apparent the Bills leap. This is Mark on from Buffalo News. He says, it's apparent the Bills leap to land the DT they thought could be a 3-down starter. Defensive tackles on the board are Darius Alexander, not stout enough. Joshua Farmer says, okay player. Defensive ends on the board if they stand pat. Landon Jackson, Jack Sawyer, Brady Swinson, LSU. Maybe at that point, if they take Jack Sawyer made that, right? He made the play in the national championship game, right? Oh, there we go. Ravens take Mike Green. Ravens are that team. You just feel like certain players fit with them. Like they got Mike Green now. I feel like that's where Von Miller's going to end up. Somehow he's going to end up on the Ravens. Maybe he ends up back in Denver. Christopher says people should be more excited about Joey Bosa. Listen, I think I'm cautiously optimistic that he can give them a good season. I think he's excited to play. I think he knows he's finally on a really good team. I mean, the Chargers have been, but he's got to stay healthy. That's been his biggest thing. Oh, the Commanders took Trey Amos, huh? Just saw that. Wait a minute, Commanders. I don't think so. Not yet. Maybe they moved up. Quinshon Judkins missed his draft call from the Browns because he was in the bathroom. He told Mike Greenberg, when nature calls, sometimes that beats out when the Browns call. Oh, my God. There is so much funny about that. Ian Rappaport says Mike Green was off several teams' boards because of the sexual assault allegations. But the Ravens took him. And I think the Bills aren't going to be in that position of taking him. Jenna's laughing because it looks like I'm just talking to myself. I'm talking to my friends here. Mike Green just went to the Ravens.
I don't love that. Mostly because I think he's going to be good.
They said that several teams took him off the board because of the sexual assault allegations.
I mean, it made sense considering how far he fell.
RJ Harvey goes to the Broncos from UCF, running back. A lot of running backs going in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah.
Is it the battery? Okay, guys. So we're closing in now. We're at 60. We got 11 picks left. Do you think he sticks with either edge or D tackle, or do you think he moves into the secondary? Sheil Kapadia just wrote background. Oh, this is from Dane Brugler on Mike Green. Faced sexual assault allegation in high school. UVA asked him to sign zero tolerance policy. Faced second sexual assault at Virginia. They suspended him, and then he left the program. Ravens took him at 59.
Yeah, I did see that there were multiple.
Yeah.
Happy hour over, Jenna. No,
Yes.
I finished my story. Added some And I sent some stuff to Syracuse too.
Oh, nice. Yes. We help out our fellow stations in the other cities. A lot of Bills fans in Syracuse, so they're excited about what's going on. The Browns player missed the draft call from the team because he was in the bathroom.
Oh my God.
It's so Cleveland Browns.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Joshua Farmer. Wait a minute. I think the Bills may be moving up again.
Oh, let's see. Let's see.
I don't think they would move up yet.
I don't know. It says Chiefs are on the clock.
Yeah. God. I would love to see the Bills make a trade with the Chiefs and the Bills end up getting a superstar in that spot, or at least a good player in that spot.
Be so sweet. So sweet.
Oh,
so good.
Yeah. Ravens were afraid the Chiefs would take him because the Chiefs will take anybody.
Yeah, they don't. Commanders draft Trey Amos.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that.
I'm going to get a picture of Trey Amos. I'm going to put it over my shoulder. Like Dan's got his.
You know what? We have talked about him enough that I actually think that would be.
Yeah.
I think in terms of production on the field, Mike Green, I think can do a lot. And Malachi Starks is a really good player.
Yeah. Look, these teams will look past a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
And there are teams. Listen, I did not like the way the Bills handled the Von Miller stuff. It had ended up all going away. It just felt wrong. The team was in a spot because there never ended up being charges. It just felt wrong in that moment.
Yeah.
And then
that was a weird. Do you remember that was their bye week?
Oh, that was after the McDermott. That was the week of the McDermott when it came out that he made the comments in the meeting.
Yeah.
And then what'd the Bills do? They went to Kansas City and won. They won the rest of their games that regular season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With their backs against the wall.
But Von just was never the same. Same with the punt god. He was gone. He's a punter.
Yeah.
Like I see him as like, okay, Bills will get another punter. And you're right. Von Miller probably goes back to the Broncos. You're right.
I could definitely see that. That makes a ton of sense. I don't think it's completely off the table for him to come back to Buffalo.
Yeah, I agree. I probably agree with you because of the suspensions. But
yeah, that's exactly why. And considering his market, we haven't heard anything about it. Although I would imagine teams want to get through the draft and then see how everything shakes out. But
wow.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Oh, the Amerks are up 3-2.
Oh, yeah.
11:25 left in the third.
Clegg scored. There we go.
Yes.
So if you're watching us from Buffalo, these are the playoffs. Sorry.
We're very proud. It's not their fault.
We're very proud of the Rochester Americans.
Yeah, they're a really fun team. Genuinely. Like they are a really fun team to watch. And then tomorrow, the Bandits are playing right now.
Yeah.
I believe they're playing San Diego in the NLL playoffs. And then the Nighthawks play tomorrow.
Out not till like 10.
Yeah, that's in Vancouver. So there's a lot of playoff action in Western New York. It just doesn't have to be the NHL team, but although hopefully that will be another team added in the mix. Nicholas Misty saying, who is the Bills' #1 receiver? Khalil Shakir.
He is.
Right now.
And I think
oh, that's cool.
I think his numbers can go up. It would be nice if, he got a little more help. That's when I say when we were talking about Rousseau, you're laughing.
I'm laughing because URAVG drummer said hockey the end of April, never heard of it.
Yes.
And then Todd H saying, I grew up going to Utica Devils games all the time when Herb Brooks was the coach.
Oh my gosh.
That's cool.
Yeah, Herb Brooks, he didn't yell at me.
Wait, really?
So I'll tell you a very quick story. I'm in Binghamton. I'm working in Binghamton. Herb Brooks, Olympic hockey coach, Miracle on Ice. he is speaking at an event. Me, like a dummy, and this will tell you how long ago it was. I had the camera because I was one man banding,
What?
and I'm shooting, and Herb Brooks is telling his story, and he's mad at the media. And he points to me as the media. And I'm like a dopey kid. Like, I have no, and he's like, these media guys, like this guy here. And I'm like, hey, coach. And I remember thinking, like, what am I going to do? Yell at the hero who won us the 19? I'm like,
Yeah.
I didn't, because he thought he
That
got
is
treated poorly.
amazing.
Yes.
Christopher, Dan was traded to WGRZ. No, Dan is at the Amerks
He's
game.
at the Amerks game.
That
He
is really
likes
fun.
being at the Amerks games.
Oh yeah, he loves it.
But it's killing him to not be on.
No, absolutely. I can't imagine the hot takes that we have in store. Did you tell him what we're doing tomorrow? We're gonna be talking and doing a recap of all the
Yes.
picks. And okay, all right. I can't believe Herb Brooks yelled at you.
Yeah, and I was like, I know what? I think I answered him back.
Really?
Because he said something about the media this and the media that. And then I said, and there was, I was like standing there and I said, well, didn't the media vote you as like Sports Illustrated Sportsman of the Year?
Yeah.
He didn't like that.
It's a good, yeah. Yeah, I can imagine.
Take that, Herb.
Those are always those moments where I would think of that in the shower like 8 hours later and be like, damn it, I should have said that.
Yeah. All right. Wide receiver stats for 25. Palmer. You got Palmer making 90 catches?
Wow.
Shakir 80, Samuel 70. Holy smokes, Michael. You got a high-powered offense. Todd, that is the true story, too. He's like, that's a great story. I have a story for almost anybody.
Everything, yeah.
Like Walter Payton.
Which one's that?
Never mind. Remember what I told you?
Yeah. Howie Long.
Oh, Howie Long. Yeah, I got Walter Payton and Howie Long. I can't tell those.
Can we tell the first time after a game? Me in the locker room.
Oh my gosh.
Can we tell that or no?
Okay. So, Shamar Turner, 62. Yeah. D tackle. That's the other Bills pick.
Also, Christopher saying I'm pretty excited for Palmer. That's fair. Like you can be really excited, but I still think this offense needs more. Like the receivers need more.
You know what they say in the NFL? The best receivers are Canadians. Canada's got some good athletes, man.
They do.
Yes, they do. Look at great basketball, not just hockey, man. They got some guys that can play. All right. Very quick story is we all go in the locker room after games, and it's a locker room. So Jenna had never been in the Bills locker room before. She has
when she first started. So it's, I'm used to it. It's been 40 years of me going in there. Nobody likes being in the locker room. Nobody. It's uncomfortable for the players. The Bills locker room's kind of small, whatever. So she says to me, what's it like in there? And I'm like, it's a locker room. She goes, well, it's these guys. You said it was, quote, very professional.
Usually by the time we walk in, the guys are very aware. There's usually a lot of women that now cover the teams. They walk in. So I said to her, guys are understand. They get it. Women around, they're covered up. They do whatever. So end of the game, they open up the door because they wait, 15 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
Might have been a little less that day because we walked in the room. Everybody's naked.
I was like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Just staring at the floor the entire time, then looking at the ceiling, then looking at the floor.
Everybody was naked.
I was like, Michael, what? You're like, it is never like this. Oh my gosh. I was, yeah. And honestly, it has not been like that since. I think it was maybe it was a little bit before 15 minutes, but it was comical how wrong Michael was.
Yes.
Oh.
All right. Okay. So they're talking about the Omar Norman lot is that the guy the Chiefs just got from Tennessee, defensive tackle. He's 291, 6'2". You're right. He's a little more, but Chris Jones is a different breed of cat, man. That guy plays everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, he's a special
second
player.
round pick.
He is a second round pick. Yeah, the Omar Norman lot, 6'2", 291. So the Bills guy is bigger.
Um,
All right, so we are.
we
What
are
do you think your Eagles do?
Well, they took the linebacker pass rusher there, Jod Campbell. I
Jahad
think
Campbell, yeah.
they go.
I like him. I think he's going to be good.
Yeah, I think they go. They could go safety here. This could be Watts.
Oh, man.
They need a safety. I think they need a safety.
Oh, I have the pick.
What do they got?
It is a safety.
It's not Watts.
No, Texas safety Andrew Makuba.
Oh, wait a minute. I
Yeah,
think
breaking news.
Makuba.
Makuba.
Here we go. Let's safeties. Oh, there he is. I think that Billy Bowman is an interesting guy. He would be later.
Yeah.
5'11", 186. He's a smaller safety. Runs fast. 4.45. 4-year starter. First at Clemson, then at Texas. Physical safety, brings an edge. Runs the alley with bad intentions.
Wow, that is
Lean frame.
You know, sometimes they're like, I'm a cook on this.
Zone instincts are strong. No panic downfield. It's like a good player.
Yeah.
Oh,
Shador was not taken in the first or second round.
Yeah. Howie rarely misses. Well, and let me tell you something. Howie used to miss. And then he started to say, I love these guys who will say, all they do is follow the main guys on the board. Yeah.
Well, there's a reason why those guys have their job.
They draft, they don't go way off the board, but look, they drafted, what's his name? The defensive, the edge rusher. They drafted him out of Houston Baptist in the 3rd round. He was a safety at Cornell 3 years ago.
Wow.
He moved there. But the Eagles started to say, maybe we should draft a lot of Alabama and Georgia players.
Well, this is the easy way. Why do the Bills never draft Georgia, Alabama guys?
Well,
so James Cook is a Georgia guy.
Yes.
But the Bills have never drafted an Ohio State guy. Like Brandon Beane, this regime. And I believe Alabama as well. I'm trying to think. They've signed guys like a Levi Wallace who went to Alabama, but they've never drafted an Alabama product.
That's wild.
Isn't that weird? I'm talking about Beane not drafting.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, now these guys are going to play at 3 schools most of the time anyhow.
Yeah.
So they may well, actually, Amos was spent 1 year at Alabama, right?
Josh Martin, Jenna/Mike, when the draft comes to Buffalo, is it going to be awesome to cover or like way too much work /to-dos?
It'll be weird for us.
Okay, hold on. Really quick before you answer that, I think people are getting confused. Like Amari Cooper, he's Alabama. We're talking about players that Brandon Beane has drafted.
Yes.
So Georgia, James Cook, yes. Now I know some of these guys played at schools like Alabama and things like that, but we're talking about players that were drafted by Brandon Beane that went to Ohio State and Alabama. Okay, sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. I just thought that needed clarification.
That's a good point. It is a good point. There's a lot of people talking about wanting the pure run stuffing D tackle. And our buddy Carl Jones mentions those guys are usually available on day 3 because they are more limited players.
Yeah. And it makes sense because the stats aren't going to be like amazing or they're not going to jump off the page, but those are guys that, usually there is the depth at that position or availability at that position. Okay. You were talking about the draft coming to Buffalo.
Yeah. Look, the draft is fun. The first round is a lot of fun. The pre stuff is everything. It goes, for 3 days there. For us, honestly, like it would be fun. The TV part of it, news part of it they would probably come up and do some other stories.
Yeah, definitely.
For us, it would be still more focused on what the Bills are doing.
Yeah.
But, it would be fun. We've been to the draft. We've done a bunch of stuff in the draft. both in Dallas and in Nashville, and that was fun. Those years were fun. My least favorite one, honestly, was Vegas. I didn't
I thought
love
you
the
were going to say
Vegas trip.
Cleveland.
Well, Cleveland just because of the weather. I felt badly for the people in Cleveland. I like Cleveland. I
Well,
think it gets
oh, the Bills took. Oh, thank you, Jake. The Bills like the lunch pail type of player, and that works because of Josh. But it wouldn't be nice if they got some players outside the box with dynamic attributes.
Well-
That's why I like the Hairston pick.
yeah.
That is fair. You see the upside.
Jake, thank you very much.
Yeah, that's very kind. That is very kind.
Yeah. Yes. It definitely is he's a traits guy, man. Speed. And I will say, when you watch Hairston's tape, he really has, it's not just the recovery speed. He gets up pretty well.
Yeah.
Like he's good on the ball, knocking
Yeah.
the ball down. I liked what he said when he said, I'm going to get the ball back for Josh Allen. I'm going to,
He's aggressive.
yeah.
Like, I think he can be a big playmaker.
Yeah.
It's just making sure that you don't force that. Also, CP says Jenna has some serious arms. I don't know what that means. Serious
guns.
Okay. What does it say?
Yeah, Watts is still there. Royals is still there. Noel's they're still there. These are all guys.
Yeah, there's options for sure. What?
Worst case scenario for Max is Gen Z Leotis McElvin.
Oh,
I love Leotis.
oh my
So,
gosh.
Jenna and I, speaking of, we went to Philly because we had 2 local guys playing for the Eagles. They got
Yes.
signed as free agents. We went down there during the spring because they were local guys. It was an easy trip. And we showed up at the Eagles training facility.
Mhm.
Leotis was playing for the Eagles. And I saw him, and Leotis talked very fast. He's deep South. And we pulled up and I said hi to him, and we started talking. And Jenna said, "What did he say?" And I said, "I have no idea." Because Leotis talked just super fast. He's a nice kid. He's
He
fast.
was very kind, but I was like, I have no idea what he just
is
said.
fast.
Sometimes Southern accents, I really struggle just because
deep South too.
yeah,
like,
I just don't have any family members that live there, so sometimes it's hard to understand.
Well, my
but-
son-in-law is from Mississippi, and his wife, my daughter, imitates him in front of him with just the worst Southern accent that she does. But
the Southern accents are fun
yeah,
to
but that's like
impersonate.
so this is Leotis talked fast too.
Yeah.
Fumbled the kickoff
You
in
know
Foxborough.
who is it
Cost the Bills a game.
that talked about eating? Oh, what was it? The wide receiver from Carolina who was drafted this last year from the South, who said, he said like asparagus.
Joe Shane got Alexander. Damn it. Was that
Darius Leggett. What's his name? Yes. Xavier Leggett. Oh my God. Have you seen that video of how he says asparagus?
what's he say?
Asparagus. It's so good. I highly recommend it. Thank you, Tom Slade, for helping me out with that. I appreciate the name.
Darius. I like Alexander. Good pick, Shane.
Yeah, that is. I mean, need to make some good picks. So
Yeah.
I like their draft though. They got Dart. Also, Dart looks like he was made in like Barbie Land. Like he looks like a Ken doll.
Okay. So they got Eli because he went to Ole Miss.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they drafted what's his name before that because he went to the Manning passing camp. Hey, Giants, get off the whole Manning thing. Eli was a 500 quarterback. He did win 2 Super Bowls. The rest of the time is what he was. Stop trying to recreate Eli. I don't want Dart.
I mean, he's fine. I don't really look at him and say, "Wow, I really expect a high ceiling for him." But it's a
Yeah.
guy that is who they wanted. So they got the guy they wanted. We'll see how it all pans out.
They got the guy.
Not
All right.
that guy, pal.
Okay, so let's start focusing in on this. So what do you want here, Bills fans? I know you want
What do you want?
Dan Orlovsky. Burden is a fantastic pick for the Bears. Greg Jennings.
Chiefs select Ashton Gillette. That was from a second ago. Edge.
Edge.
Yeah. Edge guy. All right.
So what do you want here? Do you want safety? Do you want Xavier Watts? He's still out there. Do you want Landon Jackson, Josh Farmer? Tom is saying Buffalo needs to
don't
take
know
a
if I-
defensive lineman, edge preferably.
Yeah, I think that's honestly that makes a lot of sense to me. Because safety, it's like, yeah, do you want to draft over Cole Bishop already?
Isn't it-
Again, I think that would say a lot. Well, like, depending on.
I don't think you're drafting over Cole Bishop.
No, it'd be more so Taylor Rapp, yeah. Yeah, Revel's still out there.
Yeah.
That
Landon Jackson.
Bond,
You know what's
excuse
funny?
me.
Matthew's saying this. Sometimes we look at players and you see the traits, and the team looks at them, and for some reason there is something about the players. You know, I mean, they have their scouts, they have things where they rank them and the way they play, and you think, oh, this guy's still on the board, like Andy is saying Swinson. But when we say we don't know, we really don't know, because
Yeah.
we thought that they would have really gonna love whichever corner they were going to take, and they end up taking the guy that doesn't really fit their normal way. But they had it in their mind. They really liked the kid. So they look past some of the other stuff because the skill set they take is important to them.
Yeah.
Jalen Noel, yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I don't think they're people keep talking about James Cook. I don't think they're going to trade James Cook.
No, me either.
Savion Williams, the wide receiver, he's probably like a 6th rounder, right? I think he's pretty far.
I feel like that's
152 to play. Syracuse pulls their goalie. Amherst is still up 3-2.
Hold on, I need Mike to hear this. How Xavier Legette says asparagus. It's so good. It's so good. Asparagus. I love a Southern
Good
accent.
safety or a run stopper. Kyle Williams, the wide receiver.
I'd say
don't need much help on the offense. They do need another wide receiver. I do not think Amari's coming back. I think that's...
I agree. I think it was, in theory, made sense. He had a couple nice catches, but lacking in terms of production once he was... And I know he had the injury and stuff, but I just don't... I don't love it.
It just hits me. If Shedeur gets... This is Christopher. If Shedeur gets drafted by the Jets, Hairston becomes his number 1 wide receiver. That's funny.
Jake, thank you again. Isn't it crazy? Josh is so good that the Bills probably have the worst receiving group in the NFL and everyone wants a defensive end.
I don't think they have the worst wide receiver group in the NFL. I just would like to see a more dynamic player to go with the rest of the group.
It is funny that Josh Allen won NFL MVP after the season where Stephon Diggs was like, "You sure?"
Yeah, I will say this. Josh won MVP in a year when his passing statistics were lower than the norm.
Yes.
Total.
That is correct.
He did have a great year.
He had a great year, but you're right. But you could have said the year before that Josh should have won it on stats, not Lamar. So
hey, Matthew.
I think they both won, maybe not in the years that they should have, but they both have the accolade now.
Matthew says, I actually didn't like we gave away a 3rd for Amari, which I agree with.
I think the move at the time, though, I liked it.
But I would have rather seen them use that pick at the draft and go up and get Brian Thomas. That was the guy I wanted.
I mean, hindsight, yes.
That was pre-sight with me.
Okay.
I wanted Brian Thomas.
You have always wanted Brian Thomas.
He's a good player.
He's a great player. I'm not saying he's not a good player.
Even with that quarterback. Trevor Lawrence, he gets Justin Herbert. Maybe it's because they got the flowing locks. Justin Herbert and Trevor Lawrence are just put in there with this franchise tag that these guys have.
So Justin Herbert, you fall in love with the arm strength.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence, I feel like if you're a Jags fan, you're kind of in purgatory because Trevor Lawrence can win you games, but he can't win you the big one.
Yeah,
And I just don't think they're ever going to be in that position.
yeah. All right, we're closing in. By the way, give you a Yankees update. They're up 2-1 on Toronto. Let me see something here.
16 seconds left in the Amerks game.
Ernie's 0 for 3 tonight. Ernie Clement is a Rochester guy.
Yeah,
Plays
shout out
third
Ernie.
base for the. He's a huge Bills fan.
He is.
Plays third base for the Toronto Blue Jays. Bandits beat San Diego 5-3.
Wow, weird. It was like that like an hour ago when I saw it. Amerks, is that
Lions trade at 70. Trade to who?
All right. Is this final?
We are closing in here. I tell you what, I'm surprised. You know who I like as tight end? This Harold Fannin of Bowling Green. That dude, he's got an odd way to run, but he's pretty good. What do you got?
Amerks win 3-2 after trailing 2-0.
Sweet. They're going all the way to the finals to game number 7.
Don't you dare.
It's the weekend of Jenna's wedding.
No.
She's
that
covering
would-
the game. I'm sorry. I have plans that weekend.
So do I.
The Browns took Harold Fannin.
Right as you said it too.
I wanted the Eagles. To
Lions
take him.
traded with the Jags. Oh, you're just the Jags must have heard.
Yeah. Let's see. Go Mercs. There you go. To
Darian
be fair,
Porter.
third for Cooper and a 5th. Oh, Bandits win 5-4. There we go. Getting the updates.
All the updates. Darius Alexander, I do like him.
Jason, thanks very much. Says you guys are amazing. I watch you all the time.
That's very sweet. We really appreciate that.
They're getting used to what it's like to hang around me, these live shows. I just sort of ramble on with a lot of stuff.
Ramble on. Isn't that a song, right?
Yeah, Led Zeppelin.
Oh, okay, yeah.
How'd you know that?
I think my dad used to play in the car.
I remember my daughter once asking me, Dad, have you ever heard of this band Led Zeppelin?
My sister, we shared a room growing up, and she had a Led Zeppelin Stairway to Heaven poster
Of
board.
course.
But I was like, can you name 3 songs? No, my dad's favorite band is The Band.
Oh, the band's great.
Very easy to remember.
Yeah.
No idea about my mom.
Ben.
Yeah. Nobody beats Buffalo Plus. The lives are the best. It feels like we're hanging out together. JTL, thank you. That is really sweet. We have fun. We do.
Warren Sharp, who, whatever, he has a good tweet. He says they're going to be sending the National Guard to Green Bay if Shador doesn't go in round 3.
Oh my God.
It's like, that is really wild.
Wow.
I feel badly for him because however he ended up getting thought of as this first round guy
Yeah.
was bad for him.
I do feel for like any player, especially when there's so much media attention. It's just, that's a tough spot to be in.
All right, let's see. Revel is still out there. Jalen
Yeah.
Noel is out there.
Landon Jackson, Josiah Stewart in terms of edge. Jack Sawyer. Let's see. Linebacker, Chris Paul Jr.
Jordan Birch, the Oregon edge, is out there too.
Mm. Let's see. What if they went running back? Caleb Johnson. Wouldn't that be something? I don't expect them to do that. by the
John
way.
says Cooper just seemed like he was walking through the season for a check. I never got that feeling. I think he's a good dude. It just never clicked.
I feel like he was very hampered by the injury, and it felt like he looked a bit disconnected, in my opinion. But maybe it's because of the injury.
Yeah.
Oh,
Kyle
Kyle
Williams.
Williams to New England. That's a bummer. That would have been fun. That would be a lot of pressure, though, being Kyle Williams in Buffalo.
Yeah. I mean,
What? I mean, it's not nothing. I know what you're saying. Like, it's not going to deter them from taking a guy, but I just mean, like, that is pressure.
no, there was one name they weren't going to take.
Yes. Yeah. All right.
So where are
Oh,
we?
was
now?
that me? Sorry.
All right. So Kyle Williams is 69. We're 3 picks away from the Bills. All right. I think they're gonna honestly, I think they're gonna stay big. I think they're going for an edge or I think they're going for an edge or another D tackle.
Oh, looks like the Yankees are imploding.
Did Cooper not click, or was it Josh? It wasn't Josh. No, it's like I see people blaming Josh because of the catchable targets to Kincaid.
Don't.
Yeah,
that triggers me. Oh, Jays just took the lead.
Ooh.
Top of 9.
Man, that Devin, he needs to
Ernie's
shave his
up.
beard.
Ernie's at bat next.
Yeah. So for 3 tonight. Let's see. All right, let's see where the Bills are here. 72.
Now I got ramble on stuck in my head.
Oh shoot, I got to get moving here.
It's 9:44.
I got an A block hit.
Oh, I didn't know that. Don't even get me started on the Yankees. Christopher, I hear you. It's okay. Okay. Let's see if we got a pick in. Wide receiver Isaac Tesla.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Oh, there was a good tweet. Wait, there was a good comment. Who said it? Tom Slade, Motor City went electric. That's good. This channel is so much better without Braves talk. Josh Martin. Oh, that is funny. Do you need help putting together the show or anything?
Well, I just got it. We're going to do this to here, and then after
No,
they
I
pick-
know that, but I'm just
I'm
saying.
just asking Sean where we are in the A block.
That's fair. Let's see what we got.
Lions, yeah. So
I did like Kyle Williams. That would have been nice.
2 picks.
Okay. Saints are on the clock. We are 1 pick away.
After this, yeah, Saints pick and then the Bills.
James Palmer, a darling of the draft. Everyone I talked to loved Kyle Williams. He has game speed like crazy, faster than his numbers, gotten better every year, has juice and some edge. Vrabel should love his demeanor. I like that pick. Xavier Watts, man, he is still available. Okay, I believe the Bills are on the clock. Bills are back on the clock. All right, everyone. Anyone predictions?
Dante Thornton, a wide receiver. I see one thought for him. Just sick thinking the Pats are going to be good again. Well, they got to make sure
I was gonna say there's
got to make sure the quarterback's good. Josh Farmer, maybe.
I think they're going about this though in a responsible way. Oh, I didn't know what that was. I think he's singing along.
Is that the cleaning guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
That's
a good
sweet.
dude.
He is. All right, let's see. No, that's Shador. I don't care. Okay. Okay.
Landon Jackson, Brady Swinson, Jalen Royals, Xavier Watts,
Isaiah Bond.
Yeah. I think it would be a little early for Bond. Maybe I'm wrong. He is fast.
He is fast. If you're going for speed. All right, what are we at? Where can't refresh Twitter fast enough.
So Landon Jackson, again, Arkansas guy.
We are about to draft a football player.
Brady Swinson, transferred from Oregon, 1-year starter, big upside. He's a little bit of a stand-up pass rusher. A lot of people, like what he can be. Not necessarily a bad idea if you're taking a guy that you think needs a little time, only because, you did bring in Bosa this year, and you're hoping, obviously, that Solomon gives you something.
Yeah.
Bobby Boucher, he would be a good pick.
Okay. So the Jets taking, according to Connor Hughes, Azariah Thomas per source.
Okay.
So that's interesting.
And now,
who do we think?
I think it's going to be edge.
I do too.
Uncle Rico.
Uncle Rico.
He could be the backup.
Bobby Boucher.
Did you notice if they sent Sanders video? Defensive lineman.
Oh, Sanders video from the Bills?
Yeah.
No,
I'm saying is on the network stuff.
I was
see
driving.
It says Bills. No, I mean when you were looking yesterday.
Oh,
let's see. Did the Bills take?
Let me look it up.
No, let's just see here first. I think the Bills may have picked.
I'm not seeing anything. Okay. Draft Diamonds is saying the Bills select defensive end and
Landon Jackson.
Landon Jackson.
Landon Jackson. Yeah, a couple of people have been asking for
out
him.
of Arkansas.
Arkansas. Yep.
Okay.
There you go. You got your Landon Jackson.
All right. So the Bills go corner, D tackle, and edge.
Yes. Landon Jackson. We talked about him before. 3-year starter. Was at LSU before that. Told you his teammates say he's a dog. He's a worker. He's a person you can count on. They also say he's crazy. Limited bend. He's strong, fast hands, quick off the count.
Why crazy?
In a good way, they say crazy.
Okay.
They liked him. He's that guy. So
he's tough.
Yeah. I like getting an edge. And look, they addressed edge, tackle, corner.
High energy edge prospect.
What do you guys think?
He's long and urgent in fighting his way past the man in front of him. Huh.
He's a psycho Aaron Schobel. I like that. His viral video was funny. I didn't see his viral video.
I didn't see his viral video either.
Bryce Pop. Yeah. Remember he had that, 15 sacks that year? And he's like Swinson better, but he's happy with him. 6'6". He is a big dude.
Yeah.
Aaron Schobel was a psycho. Super happy with the pick. Hey, look at that. It took 3 rounds, but people are happy with the pick. No, people are happy in 1. Some people question 2, but edge rusher is going to be more fun than D tackle. So,
yeah, of course. That's a way sexier pick.
Love it. All right. Do you want to hang for a little bit? Because I got to roll.
Just give me 1 second. I'm just going to look up TJ Sanders to see if they put the video down. It does not appear they did that. Hold on. Let me check. One more, please. No, it does not appear like they put down TJ Sanders.
I'm going to go find him.
Okay. Let me know if you need help. Edge pick, yes. And Richard saying D-line, Scott Frazier. Yeah. Okay. Let me see. What do we got here? Okay. Landon Jackson. Mike didn't close the door. Okay. Not ideal. He's the first player drafted out of Arkansas by the Bills since Jonathan Williams in 2016. Began his career at LSU, transferred to Arkansas, earning all SEC honors twice in his career. First team recognition in 2023 and second team accolades in 2024. Okay. Okay. Texas native. Excuse me. All right, yeah. What are your guys thoughts on this? Also, I'm gonna have to close the door really, really fast. Give me one moment. Seems like a good value. I would agree with that. I like this move for Buffalo, and we talked about it. Like, you needed to address the D line, you needed to address corner. The first 3 picks, they have done exactly that. Now it can kind of set you up for maybe going wide receiver later on, but I think this is a nice move, and it makes a ton of sense with what the Bills need. I wonder if the Bills will trade back up. Excuse me. Let's see. Let's look at other draft profile stuff. 6'6", 264 pounds. So what was the viral video? I did not see it of him. Jackson. Let me see if I can find it. Or can you guys explain it? Because I have not seen it. Okay. Got exactly what we needed. Filled the holes that we had. They said 6'7" on TV. I'm just going off the Lancer line. Nathan Dane saying, love the pick. Now go get Watts. Watts is still available, but we'll have to see what the Bills do if they want to come back. All right. I am on the Bills Zoom call. Because here's what happens, a little inside baseball. After a player is picked, the Bills send out a Zoom of the interviewing that player, which is pretty cool. So you get to immediately interview the player right after they get picked, which I always love, just that immediate reaction. Landon is a beast. First 3 picks are from the SEC. That is very true. So happy right now. Okay, let's read more on them. I love looking at these NFL comp. Logan Hall by Lance Zierlein. I'm going to read what Lance Zierlein said. High energy prospect with projectable traits but unorthodox movements and body control that might create a lack of conviction when it's time to stamp a grade. Jackson added muscle mass to his leggy frame but lacks a bend hinders his anchor and contact balance against force. Jackson seems to be growing into his frame and possesses the traits and motor to make him a future starter on the edge. Added more than 40 pounds to his frame in Arkansas. That is impressive. Plays with good connection between his feet and hands. Flashes legitimate feel for timing with inside rush moves. Has the ability to open tackle outside edge with efficient handwork. Some of the weaknesses, high cut and plays without much bend at the knee at points. And these are obviously pretty ticky-tacky. Too tight hip to dip and corners tightly at the top of the rush. Sources tell us he's tough, but I don't see enough contact balance to play in an odd front. Let him be a big, even front base. He's got a chance to become a good starter, but it won't happen early on. That was an NFC scout. So obviously the Bills like what they saw, taking him 72nd overall. I like this move, though. I like what the Bills have done. I like what they've addressed. I'm just looking up videos of him. Okay. Matthew Bove, Landon Jackson is the most Bills pick ever. High for a player who should be able to immediately make some sort of impact. Really like the value here. Love it. High energy, 6.5 sacks in 2024. Oh, Shay. Oh my goodness. Poor Jenna all alone. The hell, Mike. No, it's okay. Mike is working on our newscast stuff that he has to do for our TV station that we work at. So that's okay. Nathan, I was disappointed with the Sanders pick, but the totality of the 3 picks that I love. I mean, I think for what the Bills needed, it makes a lot of sense the direction that they went. Like I was saying, I hope that they address offensively getting another wide receiver. But now that you've gotten, it's literally so funny. We talked earlier on the broadcast about how Mike has the saying, and this is a common saying, but do what you have to do now so you can do what you want to do later. And that is what the Bills have done. They have addressed the needs that they need now, and then they can move on and pick up the players that they really want to pick up at some of the positions that are a little bit sexier than D-line. So that is something that I think makes a ton of sense for the Bills. Oh, Shane Russell, thank you very much. Hello from South Oregon, originally from Jamestown. Love the pod. You all have such a fun, infectious dynamic. I'm super happy with the draft. 3 picks and 3 players who can make an impact early on. You're the best. Go Bills. Thank you, Shane. That is so sweet. We really, really appreciate that. I mean, I know this goes without saying, but we do have so much fun on this channel, and it has been amazing to see the response that we get. And I do feel like, honestly, I feel like we're just hanging out. We're talking Bills. Like, I think we have a lot of fun with it. You guys have great comments, great questions. I feel like we can rib each other. You know, we have some fun with it. And I love Mike and Dan. They are the best. And sometimes you guys are a little hard on Dan. That's okay. I get it. He can handle it. I get it. But I just think that we have a great time here. So I want to thank everyone for joining us. Nathan Dane saying, I love being live. I hear you. Like, sometimes it's the live element, I think. And what makes it cool is obviously we're watching the draft together. So I think that makes it that much more interesting to have like the live comments. Okay. Darren Eakin said, do you feel better about yesterday's pick? I do. I think going up to Buffalo today, I had time to think about it. I'll be honest, when they first made the pick, I was surprised because of some of the weaknesses in his draft profile of like the tackling stuff, the liability and run support. And those were things to me where I was like, wow, I can't believe the Bills drafted this guy. But having the time to think about it, and sometimes this is the issue with instant reaction, is you are instantly reacting. Like, sometimes you need to kind of think about something. And when I was thinking about it, it's like you see the traits and what Max Hairston has. You see that speed, how important that is, how that has been lacking in the Bills secondary. So you have that aspect. He has great instincts, which is another thing that I think is so important, because sometimes you see these physical freaks, but if they don't have the instincts, there still takes a second to process, and they're not as fast of an athlete as, you know, their 40 time, or how many times can they rep out 225. So I think for Hairston, he's aggressive too. I think he has that comeback speed if he needs to. If he gets beat, he has the ability to kind of recover in a way because of his natural athletic ability that some other guys don't have the luxury of. So I think it makes a lot of sense. I think the upside is tremendous. And honestly, after meeting him, I was like, I really think that he's a guy that will gel well with this entire team. Seems very humble, seems very genuine. And you don't have to be a good guy to be a great football player. But I think culture in a small market like Buffalo is really important. And I think he's a guy that would fit well and have the right demeanor of like being a rookie that wants to learn, wants to grow. Sometimes first year players, rookies are like, I've arrived. You know, like I made it to the NFL. I did my goal. I'm a professional athlete, which I can honestly, I get that thought process, but what takes a guy over the top is his work ethic. And when you have a player that seems to have the work ethic like Hairston does, and seems to have the natural ability, Like you can't teach speed is obviously the cliche, but it's true. You can't teach that. So with him continuing to gain some muscle, but also stay at that speed, I think it makes a lot of sense for the Bills. And yeah, I mean, I think that cornerback room in general, I think that Trey White and Dane Jackson and Christian Benford are the consummate pros that will welcome in a guy like that and coach him up. And that's not always the case with veteran guys, but I believe with the Bills have and the culture that's there will be that dynamic, which is really cool. And I also loved that Hairston talked about the fact of he likes hard coaching. Some guys don't like hard coaching, but I do think that that is important. And I think that kind of approach to coaching players do well in Buffalo when they can respond to that. That is a trait that I have seen, and I do think that that is really important. So, all right, where are we at in the draft? Let me take a peek right now. Two-ton Tony, still no team for Sanders. Yeah, I mean, I can't say I'm super surprised, but I also am because obviously all the hype and all the talk, that I feel that's got to be a tough spot to be in for him. Like you have all this hype about you and you're still waiting, and it's got to be a little disheartening. Okay. Max will be our CB2. That's what Courtney's saying. Yeah, I mean, I think Christian Benford is obviously the established guy. Makes total sense. Oh, sorry. The Bill Zoom just popped up and I got confused. Okay. Hold on one moment. All right. Sorry. Just need to make sure that I'm recording. Okay, perfect. Oh, Cowboys took Rebel and Amy Cake saying that. Okay. Oh, I love this comment from Nathan Dane. I woke up the other day and the video was playing of all the fans at the airport after we broke the drought. We have a special team and it will be epic when we win it all. That was such a cool moment. Excuse me. That was amazing. And I think, yeah, like whenever it's not if, it's when that moment happens, how amazing and just cathartic that, and the party will be massive, obviously. Oh, we have a comment here. Oh, from Nathan Black. Where's Mike? So Dan is at the Rochester Americans, or the Amerks. It's the AHL hockey team in Rochester. They're at the playoffs right now. So Dan is at that game because tonight was game 1 of the North Division semis. The Amerks won, by the way, after trailing 2-0. And then Mike Catalana is in our TV studio right now because we have our newscast that goes on, and Mike is attending to that. So he is doing his sports anchor, sports cast. So he is in charge of that tonight. So that is why I'm with you all, because I went to Buffalo earlier on today. I was there for the Hairston introduction to Buffalo. This was also cool too. So he came to Orchard Park for a top 30 visit. And in that moment, he got the tour of the facility, met some of the coaches, all that stuff. So today, when he came back to the facility, he was the one leading the tour of his family around. He said he was shocked by how much he remembered. But I thought that was a pretty cool moment for him to come back and just be the one kind of showing everybody around. His family made the trip as well. That was really cool to see. They got to go to the press conference room and just kind of watch as Max did his press conference. And I think you could just see the pride on their face. And Max made a joke that he has not taken off his Bills hat since last night. So you can tell how much it means to him to be drafted by the Bills. Gets to trade in that Kentucky blue for Buffalo blue. So that is pretty cool. Llama Pajama. Wait, say that again. What about hard coaching? So Max Hairston said that he likes hard coaching. Now, not every player responds well to hard coaching, but I find that the players who really excel bring on that hard coaching. They want that criticism. They want that feedback to try to elevate their game. Now, is that every excellent elite player? No, but I think that is an important attribute in my eyes, because that to me shows a guy really wants to know the weaknesses in his game to make himself even better. So I do like that. Oh my God, name. Mike left without saying goodbye. No, he left and said goodbye and then left the door open. So I had to go I had to go close it. Darren Eakins. I don't know if you remember me, but you interviewed me at St. John Fisher when I played lacrosse back in 2019. I remember I interviewed the whole team or a lot of the team. That was a fun story. I think that was a story where they were all on the bus going to the playoffs. Okay, Llama Pajama. I'm so confused. What is the AHL? So there's the NHL in hockey. If we're talking about the minor league system, the AHL is one level below professional, like the NHL. Okay, let's see where we're at. I'm going to take a peek right now at where we're at in the draft. Okay, so this looks like Revel was taken by the Cowboys. The Panthers have made their pick. Let me just take a peek of what else we have going on. Oh, wow. The video of Jerry Jones dancing is amazing. Okay. Oh. Brandon Bean says at the moment, Dwayne Carter would slot in as the team's backup at one technique defensive tackle behind Daquan Jones. Okay. Let's see what else I think Bean is talking right now. Brandon Bean says TJ Sanders' primary position will be 3 technique defensive tackle. Let's see if we can find the feed of that. Okay, this is an interesting stat. This is about Landon Jackson, but according to Next Gen Stats, Jackson was also the 4th defensive lineman at the combine since 2003 to weigh 260 plus, have a 40 plus inch vert. The others were Mario Williams, Myles Garrett, and Shamar Stewart. So that is a pretty good class of athletes to be with. Maybe the Bills got something really special. Okay, let me go back to the feed. Sarah Christine, I really wanted Kyle Williams. I'm so sad the Pats got him. They seriously could win the division this year. I don't know if they can win the division. I think they're still in rebuilding mode. I think that they are doing a responsible job. The word that I used earlier was responsible. You got Will Campbell, you got this receiver. Like, I think they're going about it in a judicious way. And so, but it takes time. Like, right? Like the Bills, they didn't just win the division right away. Like it took them time to kind of build things and stack things. Now, Vrabel is obviously a great coach, very hard-nosed football type of guy, and I think that will do very well in New England. But I think it'll take some time. I do think that the Patriots will get better, though, this season. I think the Jets should get better. The Dolphins, I'm not sure with where they're at, how it will be. But I mean, the division gets harder. That's the thing about it. Llama Pajama, thanks for answering my questions. Do we have any Ohio State players? In terms of has Brandon Bean ever drafted an Ohio State player? No. Alex saying Drake May ain't beaten Josh Allen. I mean, that is fair. Think about that though. The end of the season when Josh plays snap, the Patriots go on to win. The Patriots go from having the 1st overall pick if they lose to the Bills, beating Buffalo, and then dropping down to the 4th overall pick. Could have been so different for the Patriots. Just something that you think about that seems inconsequential at the time, and you're like, wow. And then they immediately fire their head coach. So there's that. The Pats will beat the Dolphins for number 2 in the division. That's not a bad comment. I could see why. I don't think Llama Pajama, I don't think Bean doesn't draft. Like, I don't think he specifically is like, oh, I'm not drafting a player from Ohio State. It is just an interesting note that he has not. But I mean, Mike was talking about it earlier. Like, the Eagles started drafting players from Georgia, and I'm like, they're like, wow, they're really good. Like, I don't think it would be a bad thing to have more Georgia, more Alabamas, more Ohio State prospects that you draft. Oh, hi. Yeah. Oh, well, when do you want me to wrap up? Oh, okay. I did not know that. All right. So everyone, Mike Catalana needs my help with the broadcast. So I am going to tag out from here. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. Honestly, we had so much fun. Thank you for letting me just actually have the ability to talk. And thank you to the camera and the internet for not freezing on me. We'll be here tomorrow for the draft. We'll go over all the picks made by the Bills, what they all address, how we think the fit is, and a grade on the entire class. So we're going to go pick by pick and do a breakdown of what we see, how we think it fits, what it means for the Bills, and what still is left for Buffalo to address. So remember, rounds 4 through 7 are tomorrow. So we'll see how everything goes. Please like, comment, subscribe. You know how much that means to us. We really appreciate it. We will see you all tomorrow. For Mike Catalana, who's bothering me. I'm just kidding. He's not, but he needs my help. And Dan Fates, who is at the Amerks game. I am Jenna Cottrell. Thank you so much for joining us here on Buffalo Plus, presented by Connors and Ferris. We will see you on Saturday for the final night of the draft. And again, thank you all so much again for just being you and following along. And this was a lot of fun. So I hope everyone has a great Friday. All right. Bye, y'all.